this something you're gonna put up later?
It's yeah, this is we're now recording, and welcome to the show, everybody. This is Ryan Claggett.
Yes, it's Unseen World on YouTube.
Yeah. Now, I first noticed you when I first started my channel.
Yeah.
And I looked at your stuff and I was like, I wasn't ready for it because I was I was in the middle of doing some on a different timeline. Then I know I saw you the other week and I was like, I'm ready for this now. So welcome to the show.
Yes.
Good to meet you.
Thanks for having me. So
now you're going to tell us some mind-blowing experiences. I'm all ears.
Yeah, well, that and some information that I found doing my own research and research on my own breakdowns in my own video and things I've tied to a lot of stuff as tied together with like Nikola Tesla and the Voynich manuscripts and this hyperspace inventor named John Quincy St. Clair, short is known as John Q. Mm-hmm. And he's got 15 hyperspace patents, this guy does. And I happen to have some of them. I found images on, in nature of a couple of both of their patents, like actual, like their devices out in nature. They're part of the AI system that produces the holograms or some of the devices. I mean, it's hard I mean, it's just mind blowing. It really is. But I guess we should start with a little bit of background about myself.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I grew up in San Diego. My father was, or my grandfather was a World War II veteran. He was stationed in Italy. He was an airplane mechanic. And when he got back to the States again, he married a German. And when he got back to the States, he worked at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He was a 33rd degree Freemason. And I guess he was a hangar chief out there. So I don't know what he was involved with because he never talked about it. It was not something, I didn't even know he was a 33rd degree Freemason till after he died, like years after. Like my grandma was on her deathbed before she even talked about it to my dad. And she gave him his ring. My dad gave it to me, his 33rd degree Freemason ring. And so that was kind of hit me. That I just found that out about 3 years ago or so, that he was a 33rd degree Freemason. So I started looking into them a little bit. And then I've always been into like Bigfoot, UFOs, and all that stuff. And so then I had recently started watching, this is like last year, about, I guess it was December 2018, started watching this guy named Mark Abell, Colorado Bigfoot, guy that video records stuff out in Colorado, out in the mountains. And I was seeing some amazing things on his video. And he would always say, all the answers you need to know, everything are out there in nature. He's all, you should take your own recorder device out there. Don't, trust what I'm showing you. You recreate it yourself, And I never really trusted anything anybody said anyways. I've never been that person. I mean, I'll always want to learn from myself. I don't want to take somebody else's defined definition of anything, whether it be the dictionary or, anything. I've always, wanted to ascertain things from my own. So I started to record stuff out in nature. Then I got the bad news that my sister was dying. She had a stroke. This was last year. She died June 12th of 2019. So I found out this information out in May when she had the stroke, and then she died 2 months later. She was paralyzed from like the waist down, could only move her left arm, and it was really sad. She had brain cancer, small cell carcinoma. So then I'm at my sister's hospice unit. I'm a nurse for a living. I used to take care of hospice patients. I used to work in a nursing home. I used to deal with those kind of people, with families and all that stuff. Always got a lot of good, compliments about how I treated people, how I, did my job in regards to the patients. And some of the staff might not have liked me because, some people I just don't rub the right way for some reason. It's just me, I guess. I mean, it's just, I've always been that way. Like when I grew up, when I was little, when I was like 5 years old, let me finish the story about my sister, then I'll go back to that. So my sister, and when she was dying, I know I'm sad out there doing nature walks out around the facility. I'm sitting outside and I'm looking over at the nature beside me. And I start seeing this like holographic image of a creature's head over the top of the bush next to me. And I started seeing that, like all nature, I started seeing like that at this time my sister was dying. And, you know, plus what I was recording and that kind of stuff. So then she, you know, a couple days later, she passed away. And when I was in the room with her when she passed away, I was like the last one to press her pain medicine on her machine. I was still awake. My mom was sleeping on her left. My aunt was down at the foot of the bed. And when she passed away, I literally saw her and felt her soul, you know, light body, you know, it was white light, fly through me, through my aunt, through my mom, and shot up out the ceiling. And I knew where she was going next. She's going to go, you know, with her daughters, to say bye to her daughters, leave a piece of her energy with them on her way to her next meat suit. So that was kind of an odd, you know, overcoming experience then too, you know. And there was a lot of family drama going there too, because my dad is, you know, they're a big Biden supporter, let's put it that way. And which blows my mind because my dad used to always tell me growing up, believe none of what you see and only half of believe none of what you see or read and only half of what you see. He used to like hammer that home at me. That's why I always really lived my life because of his advice. He doesn't even follow his own advice now. You know, it's just mind blowing. But so not just that, but my dad, you know, what he used to do for a living. So he used to, or he's a retired naval officer of a P-3 Orion submarine hunter, submarine UFO/USO hunter. He was like the guy in charge of the squadron of 4 of them. He was the one that would, you know, be in charge of where they were going to drop their sonar buoys. Down in Vietnam, he had like thousands of hours of flying over Vietnam, dropping sonar buoys. Got all the good stations, you know. That's why I grew up in San Diego. And
that's a naval base there, right?
Yeah. My mom and him got divorced there, so I grew up there. And when I was growing up there, when I was like 5 years old, I you know, started kindergarten and that, and I from the like kindergarten up until the 6th grade for one period a day because I had problems with my slurring my S's, my C's. I was terrible with grammar, with English, with writing, cursive, and all that stuff. So I had like one-to-one counselor lady. Like there was only like 3 or 4 of us in the whole school. Of like, there's probably 1,000 kids at the school. I mean, it's a lot of kids. I was like the one of very, you know, few that was seeing this supposed speech counselor lady. For 5 years, every day for a period, I would spend one-on-one, you know, with this person. And I don't remember, you know, everything that she was doing. I just know it was a lot of repetitive writing, a lot of, you know, writing the same sentences over and over again. It's like she was like looking back now, I think she was programming me for today because of some other things that happened to me that I'm about to go into now, which is being that, okay, so after that happened, I get a call. I was like, I think it was like I think it was 1981 or yeah, I think it was 81 or 82. We got a call. My dad was stationed in Bermuda at the time and got a call that he may not make it out through the night. They found him and he was in a mess, you know, he was in a coma. They didn't know if he was going to wake up out of the coma. They didn't know, you know, we couldn't go see him because he was so like head to swelled up like a basketball, like you wouldn't recognize him. So we couldn't go see him. He was too far away anyways, and we weren't really involved in his life. You know, we were just getting told this as a young kids, me and my sister. My sister was 4 years older than me. So I'm 45 now. I was born in 75. So so we get that call that he might not make it through the night. Then, you know, a few days pass, then he's in a coma for a couple of weeks. I don't remember how long. And then when he woke up, he had amnesia. Well, the story they told him was that he was at an officer's party on a moped, drinking and driving, and he was AWOL for 2 days, and they found him on the side of a road in a ditch. And he got wrecked his moped, supposedly. But I don't buy it for a second, knowing the things that we know now, knowing what he was involved with, doing the job he was doing. I mean, think of all the top secret stuff he would know, he would be involved with, you know? And, you know, so then to top that off, so then after that happened, I started to have to see this counselor or this like psychologist. And the only reason I thought I was seeing this guy was because maybe my parents were divorced. I never really got the right answer as to why I was seeing this guy. but I'd only have to go once a month, once or twice a month, and did that for about a year to 18 months. And all I remember doing with this guy was playing chess for 20 to 30 minutes out of an hour visit. I don't know what was happening the other half hour. I'm thinking he was hypnotizing me. Maybe I was doing some of these, space program stuff. I don't know, because this is where it's going to get even weirder. Okay, so then after seeing this counselor for that long, not even the last time I see the guy, right? Not even a month later, I get put into the Big Brother program. If you've heard of that, where the Big Brother, it's like a program in the States where there's like, you have a Big Brother. It's like a big program, like the Boys and Girls Club, but it's like called a Big Brother program. And you get, a mentor basically when you don't have a father figure in your life. So the first two people that I got assigned with there didn't pan out after one visit, just weren't clicking. So the third one is this older guy that just retired, and his wife, who happened to be the secretary for this city I lived in. She was a secretary for the chief of police of the city. And get this, so my big brother now, the new guy, he was older guy, retired from IBM, was friends with Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and I think it was something Evans. I got that guy's autograph, and I met him. Wasn't Bob Evans or Robert Evans? Ron Evans, that's it.
And
Ron Evans.
They were all 33rd degree Masons as well.
Yeah. So, and I met the guy Ron Evans. So then, but my big brother, he worked for IBM, and he was part of he was dealing with the astronauts, like if their systems on the machine, on the capsule would go wrong, they would have to be, fix stuff. That was his job, to teach them how to fix things that went wrong. And some other stuff to do with the computer systems of the Apollo, whatever, capsules or whatever. And I never really got a lot out of him what he actually did for IBM. But I just knew that was part of the story. And I spent a lot of time with him and his wife. We would go, went to Yuma a few times. We went up to LA a lot to go to one of his friends' places and stuff. So, it was just strange how all this is like all adding up, all this, it's like everything my grandfather, my dad, this big brother guy I get put in with, this one-to-one counselor. It's like, I had to be part of something. And all these people I got put with were always good, kind, loving people. It wasn't like they were bad people. I never got that feeling from them. Like I was maybe part of an anti-MK Ultra program. Like maybe for the Alliance was working with me. I don't know. I don't have that answer. I mean, that's just, I mean, other than some dreams I had and, I have a lot of, like, I guess you could call it Ender's Game type dreams. Like I'm the kid that has that kind of a ability or whatever. I don't know if that's what it is, but, and I have dreams of me being able to materialize things, like I was the kid that I've heard, like you guys talk about when you had that group meeting with Jayco. It's like, I was thinking something like that before I even heard somebody like you guys talk about that. It's like, because I've always had these dreams, like I've been doing that, like I could do that. And then there's this video that I found that Dr. Greer, who happens to be deep state, I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Steve Greer. So, but a lot of stuff he says is good. But I found this one video. It's like 10 minutes long. We should probably play it right now. Because yeah, here. It's actually he says what the ETs have the abilities to do, and when he's saying that, he's saying what we have the abilities to do.
Yeah,
because we are, that's. But listen to this. It's amazing. Let me see if I can. I know I have it on a playlist, so it shouldn't take that long. But yeah, it's just a short video, but it has to go with what's going on now.
I'm resonating with a lot of this.
Yeah. So let's see.
A lot.
And then I tie back to this patent in a minute too, by John Quincy St. Clair, the Walking Through Walls training system. It says in there what we are. We are hyperspace energy beings living in a body of water or whatever. I'll read it to you in a second here too, after this video.
Yeah, cool.
Are we on? Do I have a screen sharing ability here?
Oh, I think I need to give me 1 second. You should have now.
Okay, let me see if I can do it. let's see, where's the meeting thing? Here we are. Share screen. Okay, where am I? Here we are. Here we go.
Even in classified projects. What you have just heard, I would say a handful of people on Earth know.
Ooh.
Even in classified projects, it's highly compartmented. This is really way past TSSCI, top secret special compartmented intelligence.
This has to go with what's going on today too. It's about the free release. What will happen when the free energy device is released?
Anyone listening, do not think you're going to be off the radar of the sector of the Intelligence Committee working tasked with this issue. No level of encryption, no level of patents, no level of spy versus spy talking in gibberish code over a phone is going to frustrate their knowing everything you're doing in real time. And the only protection there is strategic protection, which is massive disclosure and public transparency of everything you are doing. The quickest way to get killed doing this stuff is to do it secretively. If you do it in full view, you're completely safe. Why? Because the people who are in these covert programs, the last thing they want to do is be caught red-handed in a wet works operation. Wet works are assassinations. A wet works operation with the whole world watching. That's why I'm still alive.
No, that's not the real reason you're still alive.
I was going to say.
We have to figure out how to move this, or I have to pass this on to a generation, because, you know, I won't be around for more than another 30 or 40 years. But we need people to understand what the sciences are, because this is the biggest change in the history of the human race. Every CEO and high-tech person and billionaire I've met with wants to do the technology, monetize it, have patents, keep it secret, do the R&D in secrecy, like you're developing another piece of rubbish like this cell phone. It's just junk. It's of no real significance at all. Not going to change the world. It's a telephone that you can talk on, like in the early 1900s, except it's wireless, using the same frequencies of a radio or what have you. It's nothing. It's nothing. Trillions of dollars into nothing. So the paradigm of doing this as a intellectual property in secret, the only way you're going to get that out is if you convince this other hardcore element within the intelligence community and corporate world that they should give up thousands of trillions of dollars of asset base, utilities, and coal and oil, so that this happens, and they don't want to do that. And believe me, there's no Bill Gates can't take on this multi-trillion-dollar element.
He's about to tell you what
Bill Gates has no money
ETs have the ability to do here in a minute.
What can take them on? The masses of people knowing about it. The lab doing it is live streamed on the internet. It's done fully open source. And the instant you hit the sweet spot in the resonant frequencies of a free energy device, the entire world knows it, and dozens of academic centers reproduce it in real time. You squeeze the toothpaste out of the tube so hard and so fast, no one can put it back in, and the whole world knows about it at each step. Do you want to know how ETs make things? Should we get into that? Because this is actually a consciousness-assisted technology.
I'm going to stop it here for a second. Also, what he's describing here, he's describing to you the processes of nature. He's describing to you what nature is, as shown in the Voynich manuscripts. Listen to what he says.
Oh, hang on one sec. Just spell that manuscript's name out again.
Oh, Voynich, Voynich. I'll show you. I'll show you in a minute.
I've heard of them. I know that people always say, how do you, and they spell it wrong. So I just want to make sure that it's all.
It's Voynich manuscripts.
Cool. Thank you.
This microphone and all this stuff has been, we cut down a tree for this. The metal was dug out of the earth, you know, Neanderthal-like, and smelted down, made into metal. And then it's riveted together in bolts and screws. Transdimensional interstellar civilizations, which means the ones that are here and have exceeded the speed of light, have mastered the sciences of transdimensional manufacturing. To wit, they're able to create a standing resonant sonic energy field that is almost like an architectural blueprint of something, like 3D printing, but this is like 4 or 5D printing. Get it? And in that resonant field, then materialize the object, the spacecraft, the piece of clothing, from the transdimensional interface, energetic interface with subatomic space-time matter, so that the molecules, the atoms, the structures, everything in that is coming out is coming through into this dimension of 3D from that deeper interface from another dimension and energy field, and it just materializes. Now, the word materializes, no one thinks what that means. It's to make material, but you're assembling it from these elementals. I call them the elementals that are subatomic, and then way in past the even 0 point energy field, which is infinite energy, which Tesla said. But in that pluripotent state, you can recruit pure gold, pure platinum, iron, any metal, and biologicals, what have you. So you can then manifest.
That's key, biologicals.
I'm trying to articulate something that's very advanced science.
It's a mix. It's a nanotechnological biosuit mix.
Concept of consciousness assisted
become
technology.
anything.
So if you're connected and you see what you want to manifest, you can connect to a technology that creates this resonant and sonic, deep sonic field.
Our minds do that.
Materializes that object. So not initially, but say, I don't know how many years into the future.
No, initially.
We're not even going to need to be having mining operations or manufacturing or anything.
That's how our holographic world works.
Simply be this kind of high-tech 4D, 5D manufacturing. Forget 3D manufacturing. Look at it this way. Does everyone know what the internet is? You know how it came about? No, it wasn't Al Gore. It's DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Administration, and the Department of Defense developed it. By the way, they still run it, own it. But the internet, which is really very open source, everyone can get online for free, right? Or you pay a subscription, but the internet itself is free. So what I'm trying to have these folks understand is, let's do this as in place of DARPA, because the government is not going to do this ever. Therefore, there is no equivalent of a DARPA to do this for us. Therefore, let us create our own organization and entity that takes the place of DARPA to create this open source, 0 point free energy platform where it's shared openly. And then that same group would then be able to take that knowledge and do all the thousands of vertical and horizontal applications. This thing, you use it for a little while, it's dead. What if it had a miniaturized CPE, solid state system in it, and there was no battery in it, or a tiny little one, just as sort of a discharging release of energy? It never has to be plugged in. Your PC never has to be plugged in. Your refrigerator is manufactured, ships from the factory with a motor. It has a motor in it now, but it's a 0 point energy motor. But the basic energy source and how it works needs to be open source. Does this make sense to folks? Just like the internet is open source. And I'm trying to convince people who are high net worth CEOs, individuals, and also inventors to leave behind this spook model of keeping an intellectual property, having a trade secret. We'll be so cute. We're going to outfox the secret government. We're going to take the patent for it and divide it into 100 patents, and they won't know what we're doing. By the time you've had that thought and it's emanated from your cortex, classified projects know that's what you're going to do. And I'm not kidding, because they have technologies that are at that level. of spyware. What you have just heard, I would say a handful of people on Earth know, even in classified projects. It's highly compartmented, really way past TSSCI, top secret special compartmented intelligence.
So, I mean, that's some amazing things he said there, you know?
Yeah.
And it ties in with what I've figured out with nature and Nikola Tesla, and how Nikola Tesla got all of his ideas from nature. He has a couple quotes that, you know, even talks about, you know, attaching himself to the wheelwork, or, you know, one day man will. I have a tweet about it. Let me see. It's actually on my pinned tweet.
Well, there's a few points I'd like to bring up just from watching that.
Yeah.
When you started talking, the first thing I wrote down was Atlas Shrugged, which
Yeah, seen it.
have you seen it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I actually watched it last night because I thought I need to watch this film because I've not actually watched it, which everybody should watch. When he's talking about like the framework upon which things are manufactured, have you ever seen Rupert Sheldrake talk about the morphic resonance field?
Nuh-uh.
So Rupert Sheldrake was one of the two British guys that were first banned from TED. They did TED Talks. Sheldrake did one on the morphic resonance field, and he talked about the fact that how does a giraffe know it's a giraffe? It's because it grows around this invisible skeleton, like papier-mâché around chicken wire. And that got called fake science by TED, so they got rid of him. They also got rid of Graham Hancock, who talked about the war on consciousness for being fake science. And this was about eight or 9 years ago. And then, of course, everything that Greer is talking. By the way that you know Stephen Greer's deep state is the fact that his films end up on Netflix. It's pretty simple.
Well, not just that. The other way is, well, he did an interview recently on some guy's podcast, one of those guys, popular guys podcast, I forget what it is, but he was talking about when he brought up that fantasy. Okay, you just heard what he described. He described what other people would assume is fantasy, right? Well, he's talking on this podcast I saw about how fantasy and sci-fi are just that, fake, not real.
Yeah, well, you know, the next thing I wrote down when he talked about materializing things, what came to mind was Patrick Stewart in Star Trek saying tea, Earl Grey, hot, and then his tea would appear. And, you know, Gene Roddenberry was definitely an insider to all of this information. So you showed us the Stephen Greer video because you want to point out the fact that in plain sight, he's talking about all the abilities that we actually already have that have been locked off from us, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And
the other thing is, actually, Ryan, when you talked about seeing that head in above the bush, I've seen things my whole life and been quiet about most of them, right? But since I started this channel, I've been very open about pretty much everything. And last week, I saw thousands of spaceships in the sky.
Yeah, I heard you talking about it on one of your videos that I just watched.
And I've talked to a few people about it. And what happens, what's interesting about you is that you're holding that memory, because I think a lot of people see things and then they just sort of delete it or they deny it and it just disappears. And it's why some, you know, even when the first 10 minutes you spoke on this video, I was getting, when I say resonance, I was getting a shiver and then it was triggering memories. And a similar thing happened on that show with Michael Jaco that you watched about the secret space program, because nobody had ever told me that I was in the secret space program. Michael Jaco, a Navy SEAL, did. So it's a little bit difficult to ignore when he tells you, right?
Yeah.
But what I found, you know, and I'm not saying anybody watching this thinks that I'm not saying that I am. I'm just saying it's interesting. And this show is all about exploring interesting things that are beyond the 3D and conventional kind of view of stuff. But what I found interesting about the comments on that Michael Jaco video was people were saying that just watching it was triggering things for them.
Yeah.
And the other thing I've learned through doing this channel, this is what I mean by saying that I wasn't ready for you when I started, because I did look at your stuff and I thought, I'm not ready to go there yet because I have other things to do. right?
First.
I have to find out what this channel's about, because it was right at the beginning when you first came, and I did look at your channel, and I looked at your videos in the woods and stuff, and I wasn't ready to go there, but I can't remember why I was saying this now, but I am now. So this is all making sense, and also Nikola Tesla is my ultimate hero. And what I read about Tesla is that in particular about his patents is that they came to him, that they were given to him. Whether they came through, people have different interpretations of that, but he literally just wrote down what he had in his head.
Well, not just that, what he saw in nature, because he could see nature like I can see nature now.
Well, let's just remind everybody that doesn't know that when he was a young kid, he saw the Niagara Falls, and he envisaged the first thing he built, the first ever hydroelectric power station at Niagara Falls, right?
Yeah.
When he was really, really young.
Okay, so here's the thing about go back to my friend Mark Abel. He's the one that taught also in his videos when he's breaking stuff down. He never outright said it except for privately later to me or whatever, and brought out in some chatting or whatever. But they're frame molds. These beings will make frame molds with the trees out in the nature. Frame molds for the devices that they hide as nature. It's like they're a nanotechnological biosuit mix that it's all radium energy. There's this one article that I came across when I was seeing things when I was trying to figure out why I was seeing the things I was seeing in my video, why I was getting these strange images on some of the frames that would be there one frame and gone the next. Like it would come in and out of existence. Like it would be this 1 second, not there, the next. But you couldn't put it together because it's so fragmented and blurry, and people just think you're crazy when you try to show them. Some people see it, some people don't. Everybody can see it because there was a point in time when I couldn't see it. So it's just a matter of wanting to see it, wanting to learn to see it. Well, everybody learned to see it.
Yeah, I mean, have you got kids, Ryan?
No, I had a stepdaughter when I was years ago when I was married.
Well, one of the things about having kids that is amazing is that the kids see everything, and it gets trained out of us, And I would always encourage my kids to tell me what they'd seen and tell them not to be afraid of it. One of my sons always saw this black dog with red eyes, and instead of telling him he was stupid and it was a bad dream, I'd listen to him and then I'd work on it because I knew what it was. Myself, I saw ghosts, aliens, everything when I was a kid, and then you block them out. Or they get blocked out by school, because what does the word school actually mean? You school a horse because you're breaking a horse. So school is breaking the human being.
Indoctrination, yeah.
We're getting broken, and MK Ultra is the ultimate in breaking somebody so that they
just the dictionary in itself. What's the dictionary mean? To dictate, define, to somebody else define those words.
Yeah. Well, I've said the language actually creates a prison for us.
Yeah.
Because we can't think outside of the words.
People trust that that's the truth because that's the only truth they know, and they think because something's defined that way that's the way it is. When it's not even close. That's the way it is in somebody else's created world. That's all real. It's a real created prison world that was created that we're trapped in because of it. And same with I have new nicknames for them: the Dictationary and the Devilspedia.
I like that.
The Dictationary and the Devilspedia. That's what you still got to go by what's there because that's what we know and how we can communicate with other people. But to know it and to know you should define things for yourself, not go by what other people say.
Well, hopefully that's the process we're all going through right now.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is, there's this one more. It's a 3 minute, only 2 minutes we'll play of it, of this Nikola Tesla, about Nikola Tesla tech.
Yes, please, yeah.
And it has to do with the Greer video too that we just watched about a device that they say that he thought about creating, but this is a device that's out there in nature right now. It's how the AI system materializes. There's basically all nature is a part of the AI system that it could produce your apple, it could produce your food, your tree for your wood or whatever. But these beings, interdimensional beings out there, so there's this wall behind me, right? This is the wall. It's in Pumapunku is the name of this town down in Bolivia, where this wall is, one of the cities down there. And if you look at all the small faces behind me on the wall, that's your pareidolia, that's your interdimensional beings that are flowing around in hyperspace nature. They're hyperspace interdimensional beings, and they have technology that materializes, able to, like, it's like they're radium energy devices that an energy. That's where it goes back to this article I'm going to show you after this video here.
But just before you play it, have you seen? Yeah. So I took that opportunity. If you only knew the magnificence of chocolate, then you'd have the key to the universe. So I ate some chocolate.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, don't do it. Dark chocolate.
Have you seen any of the abracadabra videos on my channel?
I watched part of one recently. I'm going to go back and watch them though. But yeah, no, I haven't had a chance to watch
just after the live that was just on my channel, I saw you in the chat.
Yeah.
I had a phone call
from
Juicy and Lucy, who I do the abracadabra code with. And they just told me that they just slept for 7 days.
Wow.
They slept for 7 days because Juicy, everything you just described is exactly what he describes to me. These interdimensional beings, he calls them the energy guys, right?
Yeah.
And that they build the universes in boxes and on rails. And that fits in with these constructs that you just mentioned. And he was just explaining how they got rid of this entity that has been kind of eating us up for a long time, and it had to be dissolved by putting it in a place where it couldn't go forward in time or backwards in time anymore. So it's gone. So it has no control over the human race. So you're talking exactly the same language that I'm getting from different angles. So I'm fascinated. Let's keep going.
Okay. So this is a real device that they're talking about here.
This video is brought to you by Skillshare.
We'll skip through this, John.
Absorbing information for creatives. Design through iPhone filmmaking. Just before he died. Tesla.
Turn it up a little bit. It's a little bit quiet.
Hold on a second. Let me back it up. Oh, it's turned up all the way. Let me see if I can get volume somewhere else. Yeah, I can. All right.
I do love how people put the best kept secret in their video titles with 100,000 views. It's not that great a secret, is it?
Not anymore, huh? Get back to the video here. This thing up here now is in my way. Where are we? Oh, here. This is my head after I did the walking through walls training system. That it's a training system. When you do the walk, it generates hyperspace energy within you. You're supposed to cross your arms like this hand like this, and this hand like this, and walk like that. You have to have it rotated, like opposite. This one has to be rotated that way.
Oh, rotated, yeah.
Yeah, to cause the vortex. See that flows around you. It's not comfortable at first. It's not comfortable by any means, but it gets comfortable. But then you're supposed to take 1 step per second, like on the money. And but you have to. It's like a formula you have to break down in order to actually do it. So if a million people went out and did this and did a walk by taking 1 step every second, you would have people literally start traveling through hyperspace.
Wow.
Just by luck, just by the luck of doing the right, because you have to have the right, depending on your water weight of your body and your height and weight and the size of your foot. I mean, all this stuff has to get factored in.
Do you think this has anything to do with why the Mayans all disappeared at the same time?
By the Mayans, you said?
Yeah, the Mayans.
Could be. I mean, yeah.
They just disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have just all decided that they weren't going to deal with whatever chaos was getting brought on them. Just said, we're out of here. They could have all just left to wherever place they maybe had an alternate place to go. But anyway, so this is what happened after I did the walk, and this was when I was at a SETI. Have you heard of a SETI?
Oh, I was about, the other thing on my list was SETI, because everything that James Gilliard, is it his name?
Yeah.
It's all interdimensional stuff. For anybody watching this, most people watching my channel will probably know what SETI is, but it's the mountain with UFOs everywhere. It's Bigfoot. I love the story about the gnomes, the guys in the hats. They crap me up.
Yeah,
he talks about those. Edge of Wonder had done a lot of stuff with this guy. I'd love to go there. You've been there, so you've been there. You've done this.
3 hours from here. It's 3 hours from my house. I spent the whole summer there. I went there 6 different times. Camped there. Yeah. So I met all of them. I got a picture taken with Edge of Wonder, as a matter of fact.
Great guys, great guys.
I met them. I was on Red Pill 78. Have you heard of him or watched?
Yeah.
I've been a call-in on his show a few times, like call in, talk, and get on the Zoom. And
well, I'm only 4 months into my YouTube career, so I've not met any of these guys
yet. Same here. Yeah, same here.
I've been a big fan of Edge of Wonder, and ESETI is somewhere I'd like to go. Then I was planning to go, and then this happened this year.
Yeah, well, if you go, I'll meet you there. Like I said, it's right down my house. I think it opens back up in May. Is when it'll open back up.
Good. I like the positivity.
Yeah. So
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, back to the Tesla here. If I can get to, where did it go? I guess I have to open it back up. Oh, wait, up here we go.
Was it that one there? With Tesla?
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
He believed that it would be possible to photograph one's thoughts. In 1933, he told reporters at the Kansas City Journal-Post,
"In 1893, while engaged in certain investigations, I became convinced that a definite image formed in thought must, by reflex action, produce a corresponding image on the retina, which might be read by a suitable apparatus. Now, if it be true that a thought reflects an image on the retina, it is a mere question of illuminating the same property and taking photographs, and then using the ordinary methods which are available to project the image on a screen. If this can be done successfully, then the objects imagined by a person will be clearly reflected on the screen as they are formed. And in this way, every thought of the individual could be read. Our minds would then indeed be like open books."
Immediately following the announcement of the great man's death, the U.S. government moved quickly to acquire Tesla's papers. The FBI instructed the Office of Alien Property to immediately take possession of all that remained of his property and possessions. Because of the apparent nature of Tesla's work, J. Edgar Hoover, director of FBI, declared it most secret. In the U.S. government's view, it was vitally important to get a hold of them before any foreign powers, especially the Soviet Union, could. Shortly after, an electrical engineer, Dr. John G. Trump, yes, it is current President Donald Trump's uncle, was assigned to review his papers to discover if any of it was actual tangible value. He determined that it was primarily of a speculative, philosophical, and promotional character, and said the papers did not include new sound, workable principles or methods for realizing such results. Tesla's extended family, including his nephew Sava Kosanovich, tried desperately to have at least his personal effects returned. Their requests were eventually accepted, and some of his personal items were returned to the family. Recently declassified documents reveal that the FBI, at the time, were concerned with his nephew's intentions. They had even considered arresting him to prevent Tesla's work falling into enemy hands. After a long court battle, Kosanovich, the rightful heir to his uncle's belongings, was finally given them. But, interestingly, of the 80 trunks or so of only 60 arrived in Belgrade. Whether the US government had kept some of the information and effects or not is still, today, unknown. This had led to multiple conspiracy theories springing up about the whereabouts of the missing material. But after years of fielding questions on the matter, the FBI finally declassified some 250 pages of Tesla's captured works in 2016. Yet, despite this, it still seems some of his material is still missing. It is known that the US military had attempted to develop Tesla's ideas on particle beam technology in the post-war years. But if the government is still using some of Tesla's material for its research and development, this would explain why some, if any, of his original works are still missing today. Of course, we will never know for sure.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, we sure will.
Well, so, that was full of misinformation, but it was
yes,
also
it was
also interesting.
Yeah, but it was just the device is what I really wanted to bring out of that.
Yeah, let's stick to that.
But so then I guess I stopped using screen share on somehow.
Yeah, you clicked a button. That's okay.
Yeah, I'll probably need to get that back here if that's possible, or is it too late?
No, I'll tell you what, that's fine. Okay.
It's not a quote, but it's a meme you're like.
Okay.
Are you seeing? Oh, you don't have screen share. I have to get the screen share back.
Yeah, it says you can do it.
Let me see. I gotta find that thing again. Where am I?
I mean, we're you know, did you see the RV explosion the other day?
Yeah, I saw that. All the breakdown and everything. That all made sense. The blue light and it being the direct energy weapon.
Well, like I was in, I used to live in Morocco, and there was one night we were sat in the garden at night at about 11 o'clock at night, nearly midnight, and the whole sky went bright blue for a split second.
Oh yeah.
And then went black again, and then it did it again. It was like, what the fuck was that? And you know, loads of other people saw it, but it's amazing. People see it and then they just forget about it.
I don't have the ability to share it now. I don't know. I remember I accidentally closed it.
Let me do it again. Try now.
I think I have the right settings open. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's Zoom etiquette. We've all become Zoom experts.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's try. Share screen. Let me see. It says that. Share screen. Let me see. Oh, yeah. It's not giving me back the ability. Dang it.
Oh, weird. Let me just have another go.
Motherfuckers, as they sound like crazy motherfuckers to the dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah, that kind of sums up my life. Yeah, it's so funny that, because I've been called completely crazy by so many people.
You know, I made my own quote, and I used to write poems a long time ago, but my quote is, imagination makes all unreasonable things reasonable, all illogical things logical. Trying to use reason and logic without imagination only blocks you from all things that truly matter.
Absolutely. And you know, I've had to stop myself a lot. Are you meaning to show our emails here?
No, I didn't mean to. No. Oh
well. I've had to stop myself from sending the following message to lots of friends this year. Ask yourself some questions. Do you know what my IQ is? Do you think I'm a racist? Do you think I'm stupid? Just answer those questions honestly, and then start to pay attention to what I'm saying, instead of just blocking me off because you think that Trump's a right-wing Nazi, because he isn't. But I haven't done it. Although I've just done it on air.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh, did you see my shirt too? It says America votes Trump. I got this actually after the Clinton election. I got it on for like $2 at a clearance at the store, at the grocery store.
Yeah.
But
so where did we get to?
Oh, we're gonna go back to the Voynich manuscript, but I wanted to go back. So when I got back from Florida, from my sister passing away, I start recording nature again. Within the first 3 days of I'm home, I'm recording out in my own yard, and a creature came out of the woods so fast I never saw it come and go, and it knocked the phone out of my hand.
It knocked the camera
phone out of my I was recording nature with my phone, and it knocked it out of my hand. Like the phone knocked it out of the hand.
Yeah.
Like I felt something coming, but I didn't see it. It was like a dark shadow. And then I took a step back and I thought I dropped the phone. But then when I looked at the video later, it was a being actually, knocked it out of my phone, out of my hand.
Have you got that on tape?
I got it on video. It's hard to see, but I broke it down on a video.
Should we have a look?
We could try. No. I guess it's hard. It's a hard one to see, but yeah, I'll go.
Well, I'll tell you, have you got one that's your best one?
I got a breakdown. I did a breakdown of it. I could play it. Yeah.
Because in the last video I did, I talked about being in a cave last Monday on the solstice, and the Tuatha De Danann spirit, as it's known in Ireland, is what they call the elementals here. And lots and lots of people in Ireland still see what they call the little people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a place that's famous for leprechauns and fairies and all of that kind of stuff. And people even take great care about where they build their houses, because the fairy forts here are sacrosanct, right? Yeah, it's all being wiped out. It's all being blocked off by the government here, even down to where they're building new roads so that you stop going down those energetic lines of the ancestors. And they're also building over places where the elementals live.
Okay.
So this is interesting.
All right. So I'm actually doing I'm gonna break it down again, because I think it'll work better this way, to do it this way.
Whichever way you want.
Yeah. So but not that this happened. Not even a week after this happened, I go down to the bay because I live right by the water. I basically live at a spaceport. I live like right in the middle of the heart between one of the biggest military Air Force bases on the West Coast and a naval base port where they have a bunch of aircraft carriers up in Bremerton, Washington.
Yeah.
So I live like right in between there. It's like literally in the heart, right across the street from an electric company. So there's electrical, stuff all around me. And I think they purposely put these ports like I live at by busy freeway sections and roads that are busy. So people just dismiss all the stuff going around, all the noises as the traffic going by on the road. But I can now, ever since a certain day out in nature that I figured out what was going on with the elementals and with how, like Greer was talking about it, how these things are getting brought in. I can hear them being brought in and materializing around me in the yard, out in nature now. I can hear it. I can feel the energy like vibrating through my body as it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like hard to explain, but it's like I got this attachment. It's like a connection. Now, like I put my ear up against this tree when I knew energy was coming in to fill a mold to one of these ships that was materializing, teleporting in, or whatever happens when it materializes. That process can happen fast or it can happen slow. It can happen so fast that it's literally like you would never even see it happen. But they like, it seems like they have a certain process that they do. It's like I almost started to write down times that because my cat will start meowing at the screen. That's when I went to film one day out there. This day too, the cat was meowing at the TV, and I was wondering what she was meowing. She would always meow at the same time. So one time I decided to take my camera out there, and that's when they knocked the phone out of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
But
my cat's been going crazy today.
Yeah, I got a 3-legged cat. I don't know what happened to the other leg. I got it from the Humane Society like that. I guess they got dropped off with a mangled leg and they had to remove it. They didn't know how it happened. But the funny thing is, the cat's name when I got it was Blossom, and I've done nothing but blossom since I've had this cat. It's like this last year, fate, destiny, all been fate, destiny, and karma. All have been proven real and true to me. I'm a mental health nurse. That's what I do for the last 15 years. And I work in one of the darkest places you could ever imagine. And after I figured out what was going on, these entities at work started really messing with me. But I died 10 years ago when I was, I'll go to this before I show you this breakdown. I died 10 years ago when I had lung surgery, pneumonia in my left lung. And I was in the hospital for 9 days, and they did surgery to scrape out the lung because the chest tubes that they put in weren't draining the fluid. So they had to scrape out my lung. They said it was like one of the most painful surgeries you can have.
Yeah.
Got like 3 holes drilled in my laparoscopic holes around my heart. And then as they were wheeling me out of the OR after doing surgery, right in front of my parents waiting in the hallway, I coded. They had to literally flatlined, not breathing anymore. They had to rush me back into the OR for another 20, 30 minutes. My parents thought I died. That they brought me back. I don't remember, seeing it, that happening. I just was told by them what had happened, And so, and another thing, because this will tie into the walking through walls training system too, which was just blew my mind. But 6 months before I got sick, when I got pneumonia and almost died and came back, I had just got back from vacation in Florida where my parents live for 40 days because I had a lot of time saved up. I took a long vacation. When I got back, it was my first night back at work, And I wasn't working at the mental hospital then. I was working at the veterans home and taking care of the veterans up near where I live. And I fell asleep on the road on the freeway on the way home. And there's like a steep embankment that goes down like a cliff on the side of the road. And so the embankment, you know, is real steep in certain areas. Like if you like, basically there's a few areas, if you drive off, you're going to die, you know, or you could severe chance of dying. So I hear this thump, 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 thump coming right when I woke up going 70 miles an hour in my brand new truck. And I opened my eyes and my first thought was, I knew when I opened my eyes, I was past that point of no return. And there was a steep cliff or embankment or whatever you want to call it, right? Coming up. There was a sign, one of the big signs that says like food, lodging, gas, and here, like a big sign was right in front of me. I couldn't brake. Braking wasn't going to do anything for me, but make it worse, if anything. But my first thought was, oh shit, this is it, you know? And then I swear, time literally stopped. I saw time stop. I'm sitting here in my truck. My next thought is, close your eyes, cross your arms, you know, relax your head, pull back your legs, and relax for impact. So that's what I did. After, like, it was like my higher self was saying, do these things, you know, don't brace for impact, don't, you know, do these things. It's like, and we're going to protect, you know, it's like, we're going to make sure you make it through this or something. So then, you know, then time starts up again, and then my eyes are closed and I feel the truck just roll. And I rolled once or twice and I had my eyes closed and I felt this big bang, boom. And then the truck came to an abrupt halt, and I opened my eyes, and it was like it was a time delay or something, because an airbag's supposed to go off when you impact something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like this airbag was like a delayed reaction. Like time was still stopped, and then time got started again once I was positioned where I was positioned, which I'm going to tell you now. So it was just crazy what happened here. It was mind blowing. It was before the time of phones with, you know, everybody's phone had a camera and recorder on. This was back in 2010, 2009. It was December 6th, 2009. I remember the day, because this day messed with me mentally for a long time, you know, what had happened, because it didn't make sense to me. It was like, you know, I didn't want to drive that stretch of road anymore. I didn't want, you know, it was just, that was, you know, I actually switched my job back to the mental hospital because I didn't want to deal with, you know, that anymore. So at the time, so I open my eyes, look up, and I'm upside down, and I'm looking up, and the airbag goes off, you know, after a couple more seconds, and all this powder stuff falls in all around me, and it tasted like crap. And I remember the smell and everything when this happened. So I look over to my right, and there's a tree limb that's big as your thigh, sticking through the front windshield, sticking through the passenger seat, sticking out the back windshield. So if there's a passenger there, it would have been impaled by a tree limb. So then I look behind me, and when I look behind me, the truck's at a little of an angle like this, upside down. It's like this. And I looked out the back window, and I'm looking down. I'm in a tree 20 feet off the ground, upside down in my truck, hanging off a tree limb.
Wow.
It's like the tree caught me in midair. Knowing what I know about nature now, the tree can come alive like you see in the Lord of the Rings, or, you know, the Two Towers.
Tolkien said the Lord of the Rings was a true history of Earth.
Yeah. So the tree caught my truck and saved me. And it's like, and like, I don't know if it was one of these beings talking to me or my higher self or what. I just remember this day, and it blew my mind. But then it go back to the patent where it says to walk with your arms crossed in order to travel through hyperspace. What to do? What to stop time? You know, it's just that kind of, it just boggled my mind. It's just so many synchronicities going on. It's insane. So anyway, so that's what's happening now. Is this is the proof. I have evidence that this patent is a real patent, you know, and I have more than one example. But so this is the breakdown. Let's see. We got a 733. Oops.
We got President Trump speaking from the.
Let's try that again. So I have this app actually on my phone now, where you can slow down the video. I added it on, not my phone, on the computer. It's an app for Chrome, and I can slow the play speed of the video down to 0.07. play speed. It's
Okay.
slower than the 0.25. I haven't watched this with this. Might be able to see it just by doing this. So let's see if we can see it happen here. Turn down the volume. Open it up. Okay, so some of this stuff might be in the way. All right. So it's gonna come from here, and it's gonna come like at a boomerang angle around, like a boomerang from over here, like towards me. So let's let it play. You can even see the port that it. You'll see a portal open up in the picture for like 3 frames. I'll show you. It's mind blowing. So it's coming from down in this area, I believe. I'll show you when I think it's down in this area. Comes like that.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, let's watch. Well, there's a beam here. If you could trace the black in the shadow, that's where they hide. But you'll see it coming here. Watch. See the portal? You can even see the perfect. There's a way to if you pause the video when you're on YouTube, and you could comma moves frame by frame backwards, and period moves forward. So this goes frame by frame. That's what it's going to have to do. That play is not going to work. So here comes the beam, and here's the portal that it's making as it comes right here.
Yeah, point it all out with the arrows, because I can't see the portal at the moment.
Okay, it's right where you see this yellow arrow.
Yeah.
Facing there's a definitive line here.
And that wasn't there before.
Yeah. So you watch. I'll back it up. Well, you'll see it. You'll see it. It gets bigger. Watch. Or wait up. I guess it doesn't, but yeah, this is the portal. You can see like a perfect half moon line. But so the see-through. Here's the eyeball here. Here's the nose.
Ah,
it's here.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's now watch. So it's basically in the image more than once right now because it's moving so fast. It's like a tracer. It's like gonna be in the image more than once. But watch. So here it comes around. This is the eyeball. This is its right eyeball. Watch this. Here's its nose. You can even see the eye socket and the head. If this wasn't in the way, you could see it better because you could actually see the forehead right here. I don't know if I can. Oh, I can move it. There we go. You can see the forehead, even the line that it would make. So here's the nose right here. I'm tracing the nose. Here's the eye, and it's blurry because he's coming at me at 100 miles an hour. So you're not seeing the creature because it's so big. It's not even fitting. His head won't even fit in the frame, right? But that's his head, and it comes at me. And when you can see it back off. It actually has a creature on its shoulder too. It's hard to see. But let me see if we can play it again one more time. Let's just see what it looks like playing in slow motion. I haven't watched it like this yet. That's the best place for that. See, there's the portal opening up. Here's the eyeball. And he's backing up now. So I literally dropped, or it knocked the phone out of my hand is what it did. And it didn't like knock it out like it like tapped it out of my hand. Because I didn't drop the phone. I thought I did at first because it put it in my mind that that's what happened, because that's what these beings have the ability to do too. If you have like a fear of demons or a fear of ghosts, that's their job. They'll materialize and they'll manifest a ghost for you. You know?
So who are they?
They're they're part of the system, the AI system that runs our holographic world. Like everybody's worried about this AI system taking over. It's already here it's what runs the world already. It's what makes everything material.
Do you think that we're part of the AI then, Ryan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are part of it, and to the extent that, what we imagine, it materializes for us. So basically we bend its will. It does what we want it to do.
But
by our imagination.
So our ability to manifest.
Yes.
I've been saying this for quite a long time, that our ability to manifest is the thing that's being used against us.
Yes.
By the entity that has hijacked us, and then what they've done is beam stuff into our manifesting abilities so that we create the world, this matrix that they want us to live in, so that they can harvest our souls. Does that sentence make sense to you?
Yeah, but I'm going to say something that's very controversial to some people.
Good. I love controversial statements.
Okay, so we learn in nursing school, or in microbiology or whatever, that there's a suture lines in your skull, right? Well, in order for there to be a suture line, you need to have a cut first to be sutured, to be healed, right? So I'm about to go over this patent, walking through Wall's training system next, and the patent says that you can heal the body by moving it in and out of dimension. So one of these things could cut open our head, put stuff in there to cause our fear, to cause our doubt, or the feeling of impending doom, that these creatures out there have, like apps on their magic staffs that they could just touch a part of it and then trigger your fear, your sense of impending doom, but so all of us have been, with the birth certificate and all that, all of us have been, this happens at time of birth, I think, or not at birth. I think it happens at different times. It happens at the time because it's kind of odd that there's a point in time, it's not the same for everybody. And they do this on purpose too, so people don't add it up to being this way. Because there's a time that we don't remember further past. Like, I don't remember past the age of 2.5. Like, I don't remember what happened between 1 and 2.5. And some people might remember up to 6 months or in the womb. It just depends or whatever. But it depends on when they did the surgery or when they did the memory wipe of whatever they took from us. When we learn everything about real reality, when we're between the ages of 1 and 3, that's when we're taking in the environment, hand to mouth, we're taking in, through our senses, not learning from people dictating to us what stuff is. The world is what the earth and environment around us is what's dictating what things are. The real way to learn, right? So, so basically, so they could put, they could cut the skull open, suture up the skull, or heal it with their, heal it, because they cut it open, they probably have the technology to heal it right away, put you in and out of dimension to heal the whole, skull, the cuts of the, and fix everything so you never even knew it happened. Because it makes no sense, these suture lines, their explanation behind it, then why doesn't your thigh bone have suture lines all over it? Why doesn't your, other bones, your of your body have suture lines everywhere?
When you say their explanation of it, who are you talking about?
Like the definition of what academia is what I'm talking about. What their definition of the suture lines of the skull, what they're there for.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'm referring to. I'm not saying that this is the way it is. I'm just saying that I'm interpreting it a little bit deeper than other people are willing to go. And just knowing what I know, what they have the ability to do and what technology can do, there's nothing saying that, there's nothing that could convince me that it couldn't happen.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I'm interested in is it's putting meaning to that.
Yeah.
So what's your interpretation of what the meaning of doing that is?
It's to wipe our memories and wipe away the abilities that we learned when we were young to materialize and manifest things with our thoughts.
And what's the purpose of that from their point of view?
To take the control of our creator self away from us.
Why do
They put a block so they can keep us trapped here and feed off our energy.
Right.
Everything.
That's basically saying what I said in a different way.
Yeah. Everything's energy, you know.
Yeah. Everything's energy. Everything's
and you know, everybody wants to always fight about who's right or who's wrong and this and that. That's just another duality. It's just another. It's just like, you know, Republican and versus Democrat. You know.
Yeah.
What does the word belief do? Belief only leads you to disbelieve something.
Yeah.
The word belief is, to me, it's the most evil word ever created, because what does it do? It's done nothing but lead to division, to you not getting along with somebody because they don't believe what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, and then you could easily believe things that are not true and think that they are. You know, it's just,
well, you know, 2020
guilty of.
2020 is the year of duality.
Yeah. It's the year to shatter duality.
Yeah.
You know, and if anything, I mean, it's just it's like, you know, the word to think. When you think, you're going in and you're pulling out of what was taught to you via these terms out of the dictionary. You're thinking. That's how you're thinking.
Thinking
within
the walls of the prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
that's what I always bring up the allegory of the cave. I bring it up a lot, of Plato's allegory of the cave, because that's exactly what, you know, we live in.
It's like a paradoxical broken record. Thinking always to be right, only to be wrong. Believing one thing just to disbelieve something else until you think about something else to disbelieve in, you know.
Okay, so where are you going with all of this, Ryan? Where? Firstly, I'm interested in this ability to travel hyperdimensionally.
Okay, let's go over that patent.
Let's have a look at that.
So
let's say I'm interested. I'm really interested.
Yeah. Now this is actually, we should go to my Twitter. I have the profile here. Let's see. It's my tagged pinned video, or my pinned tweet. It says this: "We are Hyperspace Energy light beings. Read Hyperspace Patent by John Q, the Walking Through Walls training system. Do the walk and power up your Hyperspace Energy, AKA soul, with a 528 frequency known as the Miracle Love Healing Frequency. Use imagination." All right. Now read this quote by Nikola Tesla. "Throughout space, there is energy. Is this energy static or kinetic? If static, our hopes are in vain. If kinetic, and this we know it is for certain, then it is a mere question of time when men will succeed in attaching their machinery to the very wheelwork of nature."
I love that quote.
Yeah, I do too. So that goes along with the patent, which we'll go to now.
Yeah.
So here's the patent. So it says this is, well, we can go down to here. This is the same thing.
So is this Tesla's patent?
No, this is, well, here's the thing though.
Oh, this is John Q.
Yeah, but okay, so it says right here, application. Are you seeing the screen?
Oh, I've seen this before.
It says application filed by St. Clair John Q.
Yeah. I've this is weird. I've seen this before a few years ago.
Okay.
Sure.
So here's the thing. This wasn't the first patent I saw from him, and I didn't even tie it in at the time. The first patent I saw was a friend sent me a patent called the Full Body Teleportation System, and it was another patent by him. And when my friend sent me that patent, I found it on video in nature. I'll show you that next. I have an image of it in nature. Looks like the patent image, and you can even see a being sitting in the area.
And I'm sure, I'm just getting a memory here. I'm sure that during my early research into Q, there was a thread somewhere that talked about this maybe related to Q.
Well, it has to be. I mean,
that's what. Exactly.
Here's the thing: it's a fictitious name, and here I can break that down to you.
Yeah. This is really note about.
And I think this is. I think it's Tesla. I think it's his alter.
Is this why?
I think it is him. I think this is him because it's why is this patent and another one of Nikola Tesla's patents on the same image of a Voynich manuscript, which I'll show you next?
Do Can I ask you a question? Do you think Q is Nikola Tesla?
I think that the Q is a bunch of people working together, but I think he is the mastermind of it. Yes.
Okay, so let me just tell you something. So one of the best friends I've made during this whole experience is a medium called JCK in Australia. And when I first spoke to her, she told me that JFK Jr. came to her and said she was the only one who had the ability to do what they wanted her to do. And what they wanted her to do was do a remote view of what was underneath Australia, which she did. And then they told her to set up a YouTube channel and tell everybody on video. And they told her a lot of other things, all of which came true. And the reason why I think this is important for everybody watching this is because we are, there are incredible links here, like the video that you showed of John G. Trump being the guy that was told by the FBI to look at Tesla's papers. The reason that's disinformation is because John G. Trump actually worked with Tesla and spoken to him and worked with him closely after Tesla wrote a paper about time travel in the 20s. So they were actually friends for 20 years. It wasn't just some assignment to go and empty his thing. And then when you combine that with the knowledge about the adventures of Baron Trump by Ingersoll Lockwood in the 1800s, which you know about those, I assume.
Yeah, I know about all that.
And then you start linking all this up with St. Clair John Q. This whole thing is going to get weirder and weirder and weirder.
I'm going to blow your mind here in a minute.
Go on. Okay. I love it.
Okay, so we got this patent here, and it says, this invention is a training system that enables a human being to acquire sufficient hyperspace energy in order to pull the body out of dimension so that the person can walk through solid objects such as wooden doors. Background of the invention. A human being is a hyperspace energy being living in a physical container or body that is comprised 67% of water. I'm not going to go into the rest of the patent because it goes on forever. Tells you how to do the walk, every 1 step per second, every second. You can actually download an app where you can hear it beat and get in step and rhythm with it. But you do this and your dreams will become more lucid. Your energy will become more, you get a lot more physical energy. And the downloads you get start even increasing if you do this walk.
Are you saying there's an app that can help you do this?
No, I'm saying that an app that will time your step to be in tune for taking 1 step every second on the second.
So this is a training method.
Well, yeah, it talks about, but see, it's all confused. You need to have a math musician, and you need to have the actual computer program that would print out of footsteps, like how long of a step to take and how many steps to take before you hit your hyperspace traveling ability mode or whatever, I guess it would be.
And have you done this, Ryan?
I haven't. There's been times when I've been doing the walk where I felt holographic, like if there was a wall in front of me, I would have walked through it. But I'm out in the middle of nowhere doing, out in nature or whatever, and there's no wall or whatever. But at times it's been felt like I can, and I do this walk a lot. And it, like I said, it's made my dreams more lucid. My downloads become more, and my energy level is off the charts from doing it. And like I showed that picture of the energy coming off my head, earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's interesting because Juicy in the Abracadabra Code talks about the energy being here, and he can tap into it and pull it through. And I think this all relates to the fact that monks have that shaved thing on their head, and this all goes way, way back.
Well, here's an image in nature. Here's this is a cedar tree right here. These are 2 cedar trees, and there's one here, and this dark shadow here is the head of a creature. But these lights here, that's the head of a creature. These lights, all of them are creatures, their heads, and they're Merkabah light body form, right? Because that's how they travel. That's what happens when we travel through hyperspace. This is what happens
with the Merkabah, which is the 2 triangles.
Yeah, that's what will happen. You'll hit that's what the patent even says. You'll become in your Merkabah light body form, and then you'll be able to travel through hyperspace.
How do you? Yeah, so I've heard about this before, but I've never really understood how we could do it.
So these are beings, and they're taking their form, and actually there's a, if you really look at this image, it's amazing. there's a bean right here. You can actually see that's fur even right here, and it's starting to disappear here. But see, this is a staff. Its staff is attached to the tree right here. So this bean, there's a bean right here that you can only see like his eyes here and his face is here. And then it starts to get blurry and then he disappears and he's cloaked.
He looks like Chewbacca.
Yeah. But I mean, you can see it pretty. It's an amazing image regardless, because there's no way someone could excuse this as being the sunlight coming through the tree. It's impossible unless there was a mirror on the tree right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And this is just you sat there filming.
Yeah, well, see, this is me, because here's the other trick. People always say when they watch my videos, well, why are you panning around so fast and zooming in and out? Well, how else are you going to catch a beam that's moving through hyperspace trying to avoid you recording it? You know, you have to beat speed with speed. That's how I got this image, is from zooming in and out and moving my camera back fast and then breaking
I remember watching your videos a couple of months ago, and
Yeah.
you're explaining that, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to come back to this.
Yeah, but that's why you have to slow down the video, because that's the only way you'll see it and learn to see it, is by slowing down the video and watching it.
What I mean is, this is what you're saying is, this is around us all the time, and you just got to go out in nature and do this. You're not doing any meditations, or you're not doing any incantation. You're not doing anything like.
Well, I do in a roundabout way. Like, I've never been one to be able to like sit there and meditate like most people do. I do it in my own particular way because I'm dyslexic. I'm hyper energy already, you know, ADHD.
Well, you're tapped in your own way.
Yeah. Like I could close my eyes and then just get stuck in like concentrated thought and just start tapping into that energy of imagery, of imagination, of, you know, closing my eyes and imagining like I'll say something in my mind and I'll imagine what that would look like. Or I'll read something like a quote from Tesla and I'll close my eyes and I'll imagine what he's trying to say. I won't just read it and interpret what the defined dictionary is telling me he's saying.
So these are abilities you've had since you were young, and this is probably why you were tapped into when you were younger.
Yeah. So and like I've always been, like when I was younger too, I was always more athletic than people, like most people. Like I was always fast, one of the fastest runners, one of the, you know, most stamina, endurance, you know, everything. I was always, you know, even in the Army, I would get like in the top, you know, 1% on the PT test. And
believe it or not, so was I. And in the UK, we have a regiment called the Parachute Regiment, who are obviously the parachute regiment. They do parachuting, and they're I went to Aldershot, which is where they train, when I was in the RAF, to do a parachute jump with them. And then they'd all been there for months doing this assault course. And then I did the assault course. I beat all of them.
Oh, it was funny. I'd go to this community college when I was little. When I was 12 years old, I'd watch these people taking the sheriff's program, doing this obstacle course. And these people could barely even make it over this wall, right? With a rope, whatever. Here I am, a 12-year-old. I could go over there and do it 10 times before they could do it once.
It's really weird though, because at school I never really went down that road. But once I was in the military, anyway, let's carry on.
Yeah, I was in the Army too. I was a 19-kilo M1 Abrams tanker. And but so I'm gonna break down this one video that's gonna show you something amazing. This is like undeniable. And they hide, what they do is they use this they use these parking lots. Well, here, actually, this image is an amazing image. I'm gonna break this down real quick while I have it up. If you look here, this is a Bigfoot, and its foot is at an angle, and it's like think of a puzzle. It's like black and white. I have the image somewhere. This is on the video. But anyways, so this is a bean here. This is the actual Bigfoot. If you zoom into this image, I guess I don't want to mess with it, but basically if you zoom in, it's really obvious. This image is amazing. There's other creatures in it too when you zoom in, and that, you know, but anyways, we're going to watch this. You're going to see this bean shaking a pole in a grocery store parking lot. We'll watch it for 3 minutes and just watch what I show you. Okay. When this video ends, there's not going to be 3 lights over here.
Oh,
God, start it, right? 27. So God. Oh, here. This is a good quote.
Description
like
as
this.
well. Genesis 1:26 through 27. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish, over the sea, over the birds, over the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. So this video, I'm going to show you something very interesting. Notice that there's only 2 lights here, here, and there, but there's 3 lights over here. Okay? When this video ends, there's not going to be 3 lights over here. There's only going to be 2.
See, that warping is them.
See this wobbling?
Warping, bending space and time. That's the beings bending space and time.
It's not the recorder. Look, you can see the nature turning into these are real energy light beings. Every leaf, every tree branch, every piece of bark is a real live energy life force. That's why you see the face. It changed from a face. Now even these signs change to creatures. Look at the morphine here. It happens so fast. I'm slowing it down to 0.0.
No. Just pause.
You can see the morphine.
Yeah.
The faces on these.
That face there, I saw that face.
Uh-huh.
I saw that face last week in a cloud.
Yeah.
Because I do want to carry on with this video. I just want to interrupt because I just had this moment.
Yeah.
Big part of my journey in the last 10 years has been with plant medicine, with magic mushrooms, peyote, ayahuasca, all of these things that grow in the forest are the things that allow you to see elementals and things like that, because I don't know how that works exactly, but you do. And you see the energy of everything on peyote, especially with ayahuasca, you go into a completely different realm. With magic mushrooms, similar. If you take enough of them, you go into a...
Yeah, I've done that. I haven't done peyote. I'd like to try it though.
Well, peyote is from from your neck of the woods, and all the native...
peyote isn't magic mushrooms are though.
I thought peyote was like...
that's down in the desert.
That more down in Mexico.
Arizona desert areas.
Yeah, because it was a Mexican chief that I did it with at first, and I had no idea what was going on. But once the next morning, the whole world was different. And what you have, because there will be some people watching this saying there's nothing happening.
Oh yeah,
but they won't be able to see it, but you can see it. And I just suddenly saw it when you said about the morphing face there. I was like, oh, he's right.
Oh, I'm not done. I'm not done yet. This is going to be, even one of these doubters is not going to be able to doubt what they're about to see.
Okay,
see.
Carry on then.
Okay.
Signs. Look at this. Right where the circle is. It's like a mold for the creature. It's like that's how they disguise. They can disguise themselves. They can embed themselves into the sign. It's weird. I don't know. Into the nature. The next video I'm going to show you is going to be a creature pinned up against a 180-foot cedar tree, and it's going to be using its crystal light.
Morphine again.
To try to hide. It's going to be blatant.
There's a FCC regulation called CFR 47 Part 15. States all electronical devices are to be manufactured to receive electronical interference.
Put down that even more. Okay, so it's coming up here. So watch this. I'm slowing it down. It almost looks like it's got a hand on. There's a bean up in here. It looks like it's got its hand on the hole and it's shaking it. I'm not shaking the camera. I'm moving it left to right some, but right now I'm just zooming in on it.
Now watch, it's
doing all the changing.
See how it keeps morphing? It's bending space and time, literally. It's speeding up.
Nothing else is moving.
Geometry in between. Look at that. See, in between the shaking and whatever it's doing. See, look. See the V.
like a, it makes like a V. See, it'll make a connection and the connection disappears. It's like changing. This is between frames. I mean, it's that's how fast it's moving. Why is the nature having to change at all? You can actually see the creatures at one frame in there, all sitting in this area. There's a whole bunch of them. Like you can see, like it looks like there's three lights, the big one, the same size as these lights, and this is gonna disappear and go out. I'm just gonna let it play out. I want you to just totally go out. There's a spaceship in the trees. It's refueling is what they use these light poles for. They come in from up above and they'll refuel at these. Why else do you think these lights are on in these big parking lots at night? That why aren't they on a like it's attached to the on a sensor? You know, these are the trees in the parking lot. This isn't a tree. Why does it look like it's attached? See, that's not. This shouldn't be here. To the that's not there. If you go there, it is literally physically attached. Why? Now it's not attached.
Yeah.
Isn't it attached now? Now it's attached. Wow, amazing, right? Now let me. So there's an actual ship parked in the tree. Pareidolia guy, explain that one. It's phased in over the tree.
It's the bird of prey from Star Trek 4.
Sure. Yeah. Pin yourself up against the tree. All right. So that was the one I wanted to show you. But I'll go to this one real quick. Well, this one's good. Here, let me do that first. I don't want to play all these, but there's a whole bunch of stuff. Watch this. This is one of the first things that I found that was off the charts for me. Down its tongue. I've shown this on another video before. Well, there's a creature pinned up to the tree here. You see him right there. But it's what I'm going to show you next. Black thing too. It's a creature. It's them. Hey, watch this. I see this creature here spit out its tongue. I've shown this on another video before. It disappear. See. You see me, now you don't. You see me, now you don't. How do you explain that one? Barely. That's all that was pretty much on that one. One more thing I'll show you real quick off this video, and then we'll be done with the videos. Where is it? It's at the end, I think. Yeah, here we go. This is one of the most amazing things I've found. And it's like a Harry Potter deal. Creature's face right there. But this is my hole in the tree. You can actually see there's a creature here that's cloaked, and this is its staff right here. This stick. You can see its face here, its eyeball, its nose, and then there's a littler one here, and it looks. This is just like Harry Potter stuff. Watch this. There's creature's face right there, but
oh my God!
This hole isn't in this tree, and if you actually trace the hole, it's the shape of a creature's head, and then the creature is actually holding its staff right here. There's like two creatures overlapping each other. One's facing that way and one's facing that way. And it's cloaked, and it's made this head into this hole somehow. I don't know how they do it, but some kind of weird energy. See a face right there too. They can stack up and phase over each other too, which kind of confuses you. But once you break down enough video in slow motion, you can learn. But you can see the face right here is morphing. And it's cloaked. Almost looks like a creature's hands on here, and it's trying to
climb up out of the hole.
Looks like it's a baby
And
right
you'll
here.
see like a smaller creature here, and then it looks like it has a baby right there.
But isn't that like Harry Potter stuff?
Yeah.
And this looks like, see the eye? See, it looks like Harry Potter stuff.
I once saw about 5 of them around my feet at the end of my bed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're in our house. Okay, they are nature. I mean, they literally are the tree disguised. They're the creature. It's disguising itself as a tree. It's like a base program that's within the AI system. There's like it's a base program that it has to always keep materialized on top of what you imagine is what it like. Say you think that you're being stalked by or the FBI is watching you, or somebody's like you get paranoid, say, right? You can literally create something and make it real. Like you could have CIA guys coming in your house, and like if you imagine it enough, you could make it so that it actually is what's going on. Like you could actually manifest it so a person comes in your house and smokes a cigarette that you smell later, and that you think is investigating you, because you think it enough, and if you imagine that enough, it'll actually come into fruition.
Well, that reminds me of David Icke was asked why he'd never been taken out, and he said, because they just don't exist in my paradigm.
Yeah, you don't imagine it, it won't happen.
It's true, and I've been teaching
like I imagine, like I'm always imagining and building my firewall and my protection team around me, my energy around me, my force field. Like I'm always thinking, how can I reinforce this to not let stuff I don't want in. Yeah,
well, I was taught that about 10 years ago by a guy who's no longer in this plane. And last week, during the post-Christmas period, I actually had a conversation with him, and he died a few years ago. And I felt him. And he was the one who taught me about this protection.
Mm-hmm.
And when he first taught me about it, I thought it was nuts. But he showed and said a few things to me that were impossible to explain. And I was like, okay, I've got to learn from this guy. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, basically. And I was like Luke, a bit stupid. But at the time, and this stuff is so interesting. Where are you taking this? What's your mission, your message, Ryan?
My message is that don't worry about an AI system taking over the world and your mind and getting injected with the virus. Your imagination is we're beings. We're more powerful than any AI system. We can make it obsolete with just a mere thought. I mean, in the reality of reality, of what real reality is. It's imagination is real reality. John Lennon had it right when he, people, the quote, you ever read the quote by John Lennon, what he thinks about God? Watch John Lennon.
Go on.
Quote about God. And actually, when I figured out what nature was, when I figured out, it was the same day, this happened to me on the same day, I figured out what nature was and how it was related to the manuscript to Nikola Tesla patents and technologies that materialize our world. When I figured this part out, I found out about the kids and what was happening to them on the same day. And on my way to work, I was driving over this Narrows Bridge, and I was thinking of the song Imagine and Let It Be. And I was thinking of writing up this list of Nikola Tesla quotes, because going off of because I also read this article that I'll share here in a second. But
I know what John Lennon said about why the Beatles were called the Beatles. He said, and a man came down in a cloud and he said, "You are Beatles with an A, so we were."
And I think he wrote the song Let It Be and somebody else took credit for it.
Well, the thing is with the Beatles, it's a tough one because they were part of the all those projects. They were created. It was part of an occult project. But I think John Lennon and George Harrison separated from it because they replaced Paul McCartney.
This is my interpretation of this too. I believe I believe in God, but not as one thing, not as an old man in the sky. I believe that what people call God is something in all of us. I believe that what Jesus and Muhammad and Buddha and all the rest said was right. It's just that the translations have gone wrong. Now, they killed John Lennon because his song, there's also this article, if you go to it, it's called the 528 Revolution. Here, I have it right here on my link. And it says the frequency that killed John Lennon, 528. Song Imagine was 528 frequencies. And that song, it's a metaphorical song, you know, but if you listen to those songs, That and Let It Be, it was like they were written for our time today, here and now. Like people, what are they going to have to do when they learn about the kids? What are they going to have to do when they learn that they've been bamboozled their whole freaking life?
Yeah, one of the saddest memories for me was during that satanic ritual, which was also known as the 2012 London Olympics opening ceremony.
Yeah, I saw.
And in the closing ceremony of that, I think it was the closing ceremony, they had Yoko Ono there, and they played Imagine, and I felt sick because it was obvious to me then she was a witch and she was his handler, and they were inverting what he'd done, and that they'd murdered him, and she was complicit in his murder.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. They did the same thing with
Allegedly.
Nikola. Yeah, well, they did the same thing with Nikola Tesla. They used him for him to bring out his technologies. Then once they got what they wanted from him, what did they do? They blew up his Wardenclyffe Tower on July 4th, 1917. Why July 4th? It was symbolism. They blew it up on the 4th of July to thrust us into the Industrial Revolution to destroy the Earth with oil and all this other stuff. Right?
So from your perspective of what you know about nature and AI and everything else, who are they?
The cabal, the deep state.
So who are the cabal?
I don't have the answer to that other than what's out there. Like, it's got to be a group of people or a group of entities or a group of aliens, maybe not. It's a group of something of it's have you heard the speech that killed JFK, the 90-second speech?
Yeah, huh? I have heard. Let's get it on.
Okay, here I have it. I have it on the video that I made. Watch this video here. Oh, and I get this: a water tower is a Tesla tower hiding in plain sight.
Yes, I've often thought that about. I've always wondered why water towers look like that when I was younger.
No, I have the evidence. I'm gonna show you in a second. That's gonna blow your mind. Have
you seen those Tesla towers that started going up in Texas recently?
Yeah, I saw those.
So do you think the Tesla free energy is coming?
I think it's already here.
Yeah, I did too.
Been here. They've been using it and charging us for it this whole time.
Yeah.
They when they put up all these water towers, they started putting them up. Then once the majority of them were put up across the country, that's when they blew up his tower to then use it against us, symbolizing that we're going to lie to the public, we're going to charge it, we're going to give them energy, we're going to say that it's the dams that are causing the energy, the hydroelectric power. We're going to have even Tesla. I think some of the quotes or some of the stuff that's out there is false information.
Yeah,
but you can discern what's false and what's real once you understand his mindset and understand his heart, where he comes from, right? And there's some of the quotes that he wrote before they blew up the tower, before they stole all the technology, when he thought that, because he wrote a quote that here, I'm gonna go to this video of mine. It's just the first 2 minutes I'm gonna play because it's where is it? Oh yeah, the first 2 minutes is just the speech that killed JFK. This is like one of the best intros for a video ever. Let's see. It's one of my most popular ones.
You've got my mate Nicholas Van Armin up there. Have you been watching him?
Yeah. I tried to get a hold of him to get on his show, but
I'll get him on. I'll get you on.
Yeah, he actually got he did read my Nikola Tesla prophecy list that I left on his channel. And
he's just really busy.
When he read it, he made a comment. He said, "Oh, you just made my day," or whatever. He thought amazing.
He's a lovely guy. He's just doing video after video after video.
Because I dropped this on plenty of people's channel. It's my list here. This is what it is. It says, Nikola Tesla prophecies and his quotes share his words to light up the world. Everything is free and everything is energy. Now here's a quote right here.
So I remember reading this from you a few months ago, but I was so overwhelmed with stuff. I was like, I'm going to have to come back to this. It's too much.
Yeah. But
I can't even respond to all the all the lovely quotes.
Yeah.
But I do. I mean, this is great stuff.
Okay. Listen to this one. I do not hesitate to state here for future reference, as a test to the accuracy of my scientific forecast, that flying machines and ships propelled by electricity, transmitted without wire, will have ceased to be a wonder in 10 years from now. I would say 5, were it not that there is such thing as an inertia of human opinion, resisting revolutionary ideas.
Yeah, I mean, how many people are pissed off that
where's my airplane? Where's my airplane? I want my airplane. What the fuck?
I mean, exactly. We should all have it.
It's 100 years ago he wrote that,
Yeah.
Why don't we have? He said 5 to 10 years. But you know what? That's his good news, because when this stuff gets released, which it is this year, hopefully, it's all going to start coming out. It's only going to take us 5 to 10 years to have our own airplanes.
Yeah. Well,
flying in the world. Huh? Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what I mean. What's Trump been doing? Well, he hasn't been building. He really hasn't been building ventilators, has he? What's he been building?
Yeah, no. Probably more than one thing. But anyways, this one's a really good one. I'll read this before I play this video. This is one of my favorite ones. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. Let the future tell the truth and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. The present is theirs. The future for which I really worked is mine. That's a mic drop quote on the deep state's head right there.
That is a mic drop.
Then there's out of this war, the greatest since the beginning of history, a new world must be born, a world that would justify the sacrifices offered by humanity. This new world must be a world in which there be no exploitation of the weak by the strong, of the good by the evil, where there will be no humiliation of the poor by the violence of the rich, where the products of intellect, science, and art will serve society for the betterment and beautification of life, and not the individuals for achieving wealth. This new world shall not be a world of the downtrodden and humiliated, but of free men and free nations, equal in dignity and respect for man. That is our future world to be, he just described.
Yeah. This is why I've dropped Tesla in a few of my poems. This is why they wiped Tesla out of the history books. This is why. Yeah, go on.
A single ray of light from a distant star fallen upon the eye of a tyrant in bygone times may have altered the course of his life, may have changed the destiny of nations, may have transformed the surface of the globe. So intricate, so inconceivably complex are the processes of nature. Then I change the word may to will. I must have got this from another timeline in my travels through hyperspace. Because then the world I'm going to be in, it's going to be this will happen. This is what's happening now. And I just read our future world to be up above. But one more, and then we'll go to this, or 2 more. My project was retarded by the laws of nature. The world was not prepared for it. It was too far ahead of time. But the same laws will prevail in the end and make it a triumphal success. Technical invention is akin to architecture, and the experts must in time come to the same conclusions I have reached long ago. Sooner or later, my power system will have to be adopted in its entirety. So far as I'm concerned, it's as good as done. So he's basically, he's got this one too, where it says, I have fame and untold wealth, more than this, and yet how many articles have been written in which I was declared to be an impractical, unsuccessful man, and how many poor struggling writers have called me a visionary. Such is the folly and short-sightedness of the world.
He was probably referring to H.G. Wells, and H.G. Wells was a cabal insider who was part of the disinformation. He was one of the gatekeepers to keep people away from all of this by hiding it in plain sight. He wrote The Time Machine. If anybody wants to look him up, he wrote The Time Machine.
Is it a book or a?
Yeah. He wrote loads of sci-fi stuff in the 1890s, early 1900s.
So this is a quote that I love that he wrote. Nikola Tesla wrote this quote: "The day that he defeated his fear and his doubt, and he realized what everything was. I had a day that hit me like this. That it hit him." It says, "Up to the age of 8 years, my character was weak and vacillating. I had neither courage or strength to form a firm resolve. My feelings came in waves and surges and vibrated unceasingly between extremes. My wishes were of a consuming force, and like the heads of a hydra, they multiplied. I was oppressed by thoughts of pain and life and death and religious fear. I was swayed by superstitious belief and lived in a constant dread of the spirit of evil, of ghosts, of orgs, and unholy monsters of the dark. Then all at once there came a tremendous change, which altered the course of my whole existence."
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, I resonate with that a lot.
Yeah. So then let's listen to this again. I mean, you've heard it before, but yeah. And then my quote to start off the video. The development of, oh, here, let's play.
Read.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people.
I go into the Guns N' Roses song, Civil War.
And that was my
Quote number 51.
That was my first job.
Greatest beginning of history. A new world.
There we go. That was all I wanted to do.
My first job was flying, and when I realized I was going to be killing people, I had to leave because I couldn't get any answers really about why we had to kill them.
Yeah, that's sad that happens.
And then, you know, people thought I was crazy leaving a career like that because it was a very difficult career to get into.
Yeah, like my dad, he didn't have to kill people with his job as a P3 Orion submarine hunter because he was just hunting for the stuff. But because I asked them about that, and they said that they had never fired weapons from his P3R.
But in a way, it doesn't matter if you're part of the machine. Then you know.
He was involved in the roundabout way.
What gets me, because military people are amazing people, right? I mean, Hume is a military organization.
Yeah.
But they got, it was this whole question about who you're working for, because they commandeer you. They commandeer the military. The military had to do work for these people without even realizing what they were doing. And people just, so many millions and billions of lives taken by these motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's sick and evil. It's a sick and evil world that we live in. They get us all just to kill each other, thinking that we're doing good when we're not. We're doing something good. We're fighting for our country. No, we're fighting to keep them in power. That's the only thing we're doing, and to keep ourselves brainwashed.
But no more.
Yeah,
Ryan, I could talk to you for 10 hours, but I'm going to have to go to bed because it's a late hour for me, and I've got a big day tomorrow. But let's do this again.
One more thing before we leave, I'm going to show you this patents from, or the proof that a water tower is a Tesla tower.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
So let me get that up. I have it down here. Where did it go? Oh, it's in my Discord. Here we go. All right, let's see. See. Here we go. Well, I should do that real quick too while I'm here. So here's a picture of Nikola Tesla's. It's a patent image design, but here's the nature image. If you trace it like this, it's like a boat, and then there's a bean in the thing here. And if you zoom in here, you can actually see the bean's face. And so this is one of the images. I'm going to show you this one image out of the manuscript, and then these patent things, and then we'll be done. It won't take long.
Cool.
But this is I wanted to show the manuscript, how I was talking about it earlier. Oh, here's the skull structure in the tree. My staff that they gave me. Picture it's blending in, becoming one with the floor. Here's one where it cloaked on the floor. Like this is, the staff is like 3 feet longer that way.
They gave you a staff.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other part I didn't talk about. So not even 3 days after I filmed the creature knocked the phone out of my hand, I'm filming down at the bay, and I walked down this cliff, go film down there, film something pretty. I thought I saw a bean in the water, and I filmed it. And when I was leaving up the cliff face to leave, they literally blocked my path with this staff. Like it was presented to me. Like it wasn't there when I walked down 5 minutes earlier. The path was clear. There was nothing there. The staff was sitting there. Like I had to move it in order to go any further. Like it was like right there, but not just that. It was at the top of the cliff. Like you have to take like a 2 foot step up to get out from the cliff. It was literally at the top, resting right there. Like I had to move it in order to, push myself up over to take that last step.
It sounds like they're rewarding you.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, but just that's not it. When I got home and broke down the video, I had recorded a UFO flying inches above my head, manifested out of the nature beside me. And it's on video. It spins above my head 3 or 4 different frames, and then it's gone. I never heard or saw it until I broke down the video later. But yeah, so this is the staff that they gave me, and it's got like all kinds of glyphs in it and stuff. I'll pull it up now. But see, that's where on that one image, it's starting to blend in with the floor, but there's a face there, but there's all kinds of faces and stuff in it. And then there's just other stuff, but let me find the, what I was going to get to. It's here. Zoom. No, there we go. Oh, the cloak wall again, real quick. Ways in and out of dimension. These are representing the trees. In and out of dimension. These are the closed doors. But this is the representation of the wall. That the rotating magnetic field that materializes our world, the beings in it using their technologies. This is off of that Impossible channel. Looks like one of those. You'll go here. Oh, I can't open that one up. But that looks kind of similar. But okay, here's the tower. Let's go this one first. So here's one of his Wardenclyffe tower. Okay, so you look at that image, then you go to the next image. Down here. Okay, so this is the first water tower ever constructed in the U.S. This is what it looks like. It looks just like a Tesla tower.
Certainly does.
You're saying that there's enough water that could be held up in this tower to make it so 100 people, different homes, could have a bath after the, it's just, it makes no sense.
No, you're right.
But here, watch. This is the part that's amazing. Well, it's an article too. So here's a patent image design of the Wardenclyffe Tower, the Tesla Tower. So if you look here, this is where it goes into the ground. A hole needs to be dug into the ground, into the water table, right? Here's a water tower patent image design. Same thing, down into the water, the dome. And right here, when you first go to this, it just shows water towers. Then it has a drop down, and the drop down menu says electrical characteristic sensing, head establishing standpipe or expansion chamber. So it's talking about an expansion pipe chamber, right? Now, this is going to blow your mind, this article that I have. Let me see. Well, let me show you the other image of, I did show you all four, okay? So then there's this article, and I have it in the description of my Nikola Tesla prophecies, our future world to be lit up by water towers hidden in plain sight, free energy. That was the name I named it. So then we got, it's called the longitudinal wave. So open this up. Now, when you read this, and there's a quote he wrote that I'm going to read that goes along with this. And the quote's amazing too. Okay, so when you read this is where you get the patent image of the water tower. It talks about, this is a Tesla tower. We just read that the water tower has an expansion chamber, right? Expanding pipe or whatever. When you read this, it just talks about a hole being dug in the ground, and it talks about, I don't want to read the whole thing to waste your time. You can go back and this is in the description of this video. It's the first link when you go and you click in the description, so you can find it and go to it any time. So are all the videos that, like the Guns N' Roses song, the speech that killed JFK, all that's in this description, and the patent that what is it here? It says new invention to preserve the beauty of youth through life. Then there's this one that was, I really should have wanted to get to that. Well, there's an amazing song. It's called it's a Let It Be and Imagine mashup song, and it's both Imagine and Let It Be combined together into one song, and it's amazing. You should listen to it later. It's like 7-minute song. So where is a famous prophet of science looks into the future. I do want to go here real quick just to show you one thing. This is the article that got me to think up this prophecy quote thing. But there's one important quote, and this is going to blow you away here. This is how it is so prophetic. I asked Tesla what part of his life lay closest to his heart, and the answer surprised me. It was not the world wireless system nor the airplane. It was not the induction motor, today the basis of industries, in which billions of dollars are invested all over the world. Instead, it was the discovery of the principle that preceded the induction motor, the rotating magnetic field. When I made the discovery of the rotating magnetic field, Dr. Tesla said, I was a very young man. The revelation came after years of concentrated thought, and it was my first great thrill. It was not only a valuable discovery, capable of extensive practical applications, it was a revelation of new forces and new phenomenon unknown to science before. No, Dr. Tesla said, with some feeling, I would not give my rotating field discovery for 1,000 inventions, however valuable, designed merely as mechanical contraptions to deceive the eye and the ear. 1,000 years hence, the telephone, the motion picture camera may be obsolete, but the principles of the rotating magnetic field remain a vital living thing for all time to come. Now, have you heard them releasing and letting people go to the theaters to watch new movies being released? Hollywood's becoming obsolete, is it not?
Yeah.
Just like he said it would, right?
Yeah.
He was saying the telephone, the motion picture camera, obsolete at some point. We're going to be communicating telepathy with each other. We're not going to need a telephone.
Yeah,
That's
I was saying this to my daughter last week. And she was really annoyed because she's totally addicted to her phone.
Yeah. No, this is the way we're going to communicate. We can communicate in another universe and communicate with each other. I mean, but so this thing here, there's one other part where this got me to realize that these creatures were using these devices to be able to do this, and that his technology, which is what I showed that image of nature, that's part of the manuscripts, is using this technology here that he's going to describe the energy that's in this. He doesn't describe the technology, he describes the energy, radium waves, and what radium does.
This is why I believe, this is why I wrote a poem based on President Trump saying the best is yet to come, because I totally believe this is on its way.
Our future world to be. It's this walking through walls training system is there. John Quincy St. Clair stands for, the John is for JFK, the junior, or John Quincy St. Clair. The Quincy is for Q. Then the St. Clair would be Saint whatever Saint JFK or JFK Jr. is in the big scheme of things. I don't know what he would be considered, but he's a saint of some sort. Then the Claire is because Claire Danes played the role of Caroline in the TV docudrama series. So that's the tie-in of how that's a fictitious name of a real guy. And because there's actual stories, I can't find the article anymore, but there's this article I found about John Quincy St. Clair, and it talks about his travels through hyperspace and the things that he whatever. It was just really interesting stories. But this is very important. It says when radium was discovered, it was found actually to emit particles of matter, flying nuclei of helium atoms called alpha rays. Tesla maintained ever since that radium is not a generator, but a transformer of energy. Right? Listen to this. The emanations being caused by cosmic rays of immense power, capable of penetrating all obstacles, however thick. The existence of this radiation, which he says should not be confounded with the comparatively very feeble cosmic rays observed more recently, he has proved by mathematical theory, agreeing closely with experiment. And then he talks about making a delivery system that could where is it? There's a quote. Oh no, it's not in this part. But he has another quote where he talks about how he made something that had generated energy that was faster than the speed of lightning. Is basically what the quote refers to. And that's what these beings are. That's what this hyperspace is. And when things are in hyperspace and the rotating magnetic field spinning around us, it's with these radium energy that transforms energy into a ship, takes apart energy. That's what these teleportation systems are made from. Are made to use this technology, to use radium energy to, and think about it, penetrate any object, no matter how thick. That's the only thing that could be used in a teleportation machine that would be able to teleport anybody somewhere, anywhere. It'd have to be able to penetrate anything, no matter how thick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what is used in these technologies as radium energy devices. That's what these beings are using out in nature. But they're moving so fast, they're moving faster than the speed of lightning, like Flash Gordon in the cartoons. That's what these beings are doing. They're running circles around you as they're materializing and manifesting in the world. When your recording is getting blurry, it's not because the recording is messing up and it needs to get into focus. That's what they want us to think. It's because the recording device is recording in real time, and it's the beings that are having to materialize the world having to catch up to the recording device.
Yeah.
Just like in nature. It's not the wind isn't, the wind doesn't blow the leaves. The energy coming through nature, through the medium of nature, that goes into the rotating magnetic field to materialize, these beings materializing the world around us, the energy moving in through nature to do that is what moves the leaves and creates the wind. It's like the exact opposite of what they want us to think.
Well, everything is the exact opposite of what they want to think.
Yeah, and that's what I've learned out there in these with these beings. That's what they've taught me. That's what I've learned from this. But let me show you this last images here with the manuscript, and and the quote about the water tower. This is amazing. This is going to blow you away, because it's so fitting for the times here. When I read this, it blew me away. It says, okay, it is true that some of them had to do with wireless telegraphy, and that in addition to the tower and poles, there is a hole dug in the ground. This is 150 feet deep and is used in these experiments. The people about there, had they been awake instead of asleep at other times, would have seen stranger things. Someday, but not at this time, I shall make an announcement of something I never once dreamed of. He's saying if people about there, had they been awake instead of asleep, would have seen stranger things. The stranger things we see, they don't. They're asleep. It's so fitting. And it's that technology that's why they're asleep, that's being used against them to deceive their eyes and their ears. It's just like what this quote says. Hollywood's obsolete. Everything, that one quote is so powerful, and it just sums everything up in a nice little tight bow.
Had they been awake instead of asleep, and this is the Great Awakening.
They'll be awake soon.
I hope so.
But isn't that quote amazing to go with the water towers?
They're fantastic, yeah.
But okay, so this is the Value Units manuscript. Just to show that real quick, there's a book, there's a link, and the link is, I have the link, I can get it to you. But there's a book that you can flip through these pages, and it shows nature. It's like a book that's been basically, it's a language that's written that nobody's ever been able to break the code of the language.
I've heard of this. I looked at it a few years ago. I think we should do a video just about this.
Okay, but there's one thing I'm going to show you, and it's going to blow you away. This is what I should have started off with this, but well, here's another one that's kind of important. This is also another, well, my friend found an image. So here's technology of Tesla. Nikola Tesla patent, art of transmitting electrical energy through the nature medium, right? So, and these devices, you see this, you think it would just be some little intricate device. These devices can be as big as a building, as big as a town, as big as a city, or it can be as small as your fingernail, or even smaller. They can be many different sizes. And my friend found this device in nature, this one in the middle here, and it's inverted here. But there's a square here, and then the circle, and then you can even zoom in and see the beans. There's a square, then the straight line, and then the circle at the top. It's a little bit hard. You have to maybe spend some time at it, but here's another patent I found. So this is a patent for a cloaking technology, right? It's called an optical cloaking system, which optically cloaks hidden an object in visible light spectrum. Here's a nature image of it in its biological form.
This is why these spaceships I saw the other day were there and then they weren't there.
Yeah, they can turn from biological to mechanical, biological to mechanical. They can transform from one to the other in a nanosecond. They can fly through one dimension as a dragon and show up in the next dimension as a ship from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
They can change it's just, but here's the teleportation device, John Q patent. This is the first one my friend gave me. Here's the tire shape. A pulsed gravitational wave wormhole generating system that teleports a human being through hyperspace from one location to another. Now watch this. This is my image I found in nature of it. You can see there's a darker circle here. It's an upside down black teardrop, and there's actually a bean sitting in it. I have different images of it, but you can see the head of the bean, and it's crouched down, kind of like that Terminator when it teleports in to the movie, the Terminator, when that guy, not the Terminator, but that guy teleports in naked.
Yeah, that was Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a picture the other day of a kid in Donald Trump's office, and he had a disc on his hand, and he was doing this 3 fingers on it like this. And she said, "What does this symbolize?" But it looked like that black disc.
Yeah, could be. So yeah, another one of John Q's. He's got another patent. It's like a chi generator. There's a device that could generate chi energy that you can use.
It's called the human body.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now here's the image that blew me away when I made this connection. And this is without a shadow of a doubt. I have broken the code, and I know what these manuscript images depict. I've cracked it, and I've never seen anybody show this. I've done this. This is my own research, my own finding, and so here's the ship. Well, here, let me show you the big image. But here's the ship. Like I haven't showed you the patent yet. Where are we? Stupid thing. Let's start up here. Yeah, that's here. Okay, so here's let's start here. Here's another patent by John Q. It's called a spacecraft propulsion system utilizing a rotating octagon or trapezoidal electrode charge that panels and creates electric dipole moment and generates lift on the hull. Okay, so this is right here. This is my nature image of that. There's 2 of them in the tree being generated, materialized into the tree. That's like the frame mold part. But anyway, so here's the Tesla patent. Here's my image of nature again. You can see the shape of it by the different, it's the same thing. And it's this here, a dynamo electrical machine. That's just like, so here's the image I was looking for. Here's the full image. So this one image, you got the boat, like I just showed you with that Tesla patent. This one, let me see. Yeah, I can do that. This one. So that's the boat. The boat, right? Now, just in case. Okay, so if you go in here, you got the beam and the upside down propulsion system, the beam with its radium energy technology, so it can run around you, as fly around you, materializing the world. That's what it's showing. And all these other, same different contraption, different machine. This is another patent by John Q. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I didn't even realize that. He's got another machine like that. So here's the John Q patent right here, right? You go back to that patent. What's it look like? It's right here. It's that patent. It's upside down. This one up here. Okay, so why is John Quincy St. Clair and Nikola Tesla both have a patent image design that matches identically on the same page in the manuscript with a bean in it flying around on a propulsion system?
Here we go. The golden age is upon us.
But isn't this crazy how I figured this out?
It's amazing.
And I have many other examples of other patent image designs and nature images and images out of the manuscript. These are not the only ones.
I've been to Leonardo da Vinci's deathbed, where he died, his home in France, and there are these machines built in the garden that are very reminiscent of all of these. It's just absolutely fascinating. And I'm absolutely convinced that you're right, and I'm 100% convinced that the Trumps and Tesla are totally connected, and that we're gonna have this incredible unveiling, because I believe
and he's still alive. He's still alive. Tesla's still alive. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think I think he's John Quincy St. Clair too. And I think they just made up that fictitious name, because why is why are they on the same image of the manuscript? Both two different guys?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's the same guy. It's the same guy. That's my interpretation.
Well, look, you've done some amazing work here.
I mean,
really, honestly, I can't tell you how happy I am to see all this stuff, because I went deep into Tesla a number of years ago, and then life took over, things happened. I even got involved with some people that were actually building a Tesla device, and I held it in my hands, and they were very close to making it. I think they did actually make it work, but they kept getting attacked, so it was a very difficult journey for them. But it's phenomenal to be reminded of just the sheer scale of the genius of what he did, and how the human race has been robbed of so much, and the scale of what it's taking to bring Tesla's dreams to life and to go into this golden age, which I'm 100% convinced we're here to do. So, I really would love to talk to you longer. I'm just running out of energy because
I know, I get it. We've been on for a couple hours now. I appreciate you.
It's really, I want to do service to you properly and have you back on again. And when this has gone up, have a look at it and then think if there's any bits that we could have gone deeper into. I'm really happy to do that. And
same with you too. If you think of something that you would have rather want me to hear me talk about more.
Oh, there's loads already. I mean, I
got bouncing around a lot. I know.
Yeah, well, that's good.
My mind works.
Well, just think if this is like an introduction video, because I am genuinely fascinated by everybody should be fascinated by Tesla, and you have taken the time and your journey to get to this point as well. We had to explore that, and the way that you've connected it with nature, it's fascinating.
I'm out there. I can communicate with. I see them when I'm out there now.
You know what I want to do next, don't you? I'm going to go out tomorrow into the woods with my phone and start doing this.
Yeah, and then break it down in slow motion. There's an app extension you can put on Chrome to slow down the video if you upload it. Do a lot of quick pannings and in and out, zooming in and out, and pan unpredictably. Even try this out in nature. Stand out in a circle, just start spinning around in a circle and just start snapping photos. And then look into the photos later and you'll catch stuff in there because...
Dude, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, because that's how you catch them off guard, because they have to move so fast that they can materialize our world before you take your next step. I mean, that's how fast these beings move, and they wonder why you can't get them on freaking video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just these things. It's like they're so. It's like Tesla said, so intricate, so inconceivably complex are the processes of nature. Well, I understand them like nobody else right now that I've ever met.
Well, no, it's wonderful. I mean, and a lot of what I'm seeing in the what's it called, the manuscripts.
I do have one more amazing 6-minute video that will amaze you. It's just, you can just listen to it as you wrap up whatever you're doing right there. And it's about the 528 frequency, the miracle frequency.
Get it on.
It blew me.
Well, I was just about to say the Voynich manuscripts, the images in there remind me of ayahuasca. That's
What's ayahuasca again? The
ayahuasca.
Uh-huh.
It's an ancient brew from South America, which takes you into different dimensions.
Okay.
And when you take it, it's like coming home. So
where can you get some of that stuff?
It's the best thing is that when all of this is over, we'll just organize a trip down to South America and go into the jungle for a couple of weeks, and you take it every night, and you'll see all of these creatures for real.
I already see them for real without it though, so
no, you'll be able to interact with them at the same speed.
All right, so this video it's amazing. It amazed me, and
I love Gina Maria Colvin's channel.
I just signed up for it yesterday.
No,
someone recommended it.
She's got a big heart, and she sees the same stuff you do, but she's very good with her camera work.
Yeah, that's one thing I've suck at, but I'm getting better.
Oh, well, you know, it's just amazing that you're doing it. Let's end on this video then. What was it? Which one are we going to watch?
It's going to be, the 528 frequency.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Miracle love frequency. This is it. Hidden frequency.
People who are controlling virtually everything economically, geopolitically. Their agenda has been population manipulation, population control for millennia. They've held the secret knowledge, the ancient music, by which the pyramids were constructed based on the math. I began to investigate 528 by a divine revelation that was given to a Dr. Joseph Paleo back in 1997, along with the original musical scale, the original solfeggio. It was 6 notes by which the hymn to St. John the Baptist was sung. That was known as the most spiritually uplifting hymn of all the ages. And the 3rd note of that scale was miracle note, 528. So it was ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and the 3rd note, mi, miragistorum in Latin, means miracles in English. So from that moment on, I began to think of 528 as something very special, but I had no clue whatsoever what it really was. I had no knowledge whatsoever about it being a miracle note, nor did I have any concept that it was the prophesied key to the house of David. In the book of Isaiah in the Old Testament, 22:22, and in the book of Revelation 3:6-8, it talks in the end times about an angel from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, coming and heralding a miraculous key that opened doors that no man can close and closed doors that no man can open. I had no knowledge whatsoever that that was 528. And now we have substantive evidence, massive amounts of evidence that that is what 528 is. It turned out that when we discovered the original musical scale, there was not just 6, but a total of 9 core creative frequencies to the universe. That is, everything in the universe is made from 9 notes, only 9. And that the first 6 are the solfeggio, and then there's 3 additional ones that form a perfect circle of sound. And that perfect circle of sound looks something like this. The other note that you see, 741, which is part of nature, is called the devil's interval in musicology. That when you play 741 with 528, it creates such an annoying and dissonant energy, dis-easing, stressful, that if you continue to listen to it, you could die. In the world today, we have people who are controlling virtually everything economically, geopolitically. Their agenda has been population manipulation, population control for millennia. They've held the secret knowledge, the ancient music, by which the pyramids were constructed based on the math. All of the universe is constructed according to these 9 tones. They knew about them, and in fact, they instituted. In fact, it was the Rockefeller Foundation in 1939 that instituted the world's standard tuning. The Western world tunes to A440 hertz frequency. That when you tune your instrument to that, the F sharp note is 741, precisely. Not 7.41.1 or 0.2, it's 741, which meant that there was a clear, scientifically researched intent, and indeed that's exactly what happened. The 741 A440 link came out of military research in the 1930s to induce psychosocial stress and dis-ease to the max. It was selected that A440 would be the standard tuning for the Western world. In fact, quote, mass hysteria, end quote, could be induced by instituting that frequency. And now you begin to explain why you went from the era of Frank Sinatra, where women would mostly swoon over Frank. Suddenly, Elvis Presley, rioting began. So we have a choice that we can remain in dissonance, or we could literally vibe to a new song. That requires us to get a new look at ourselves, to get over the traumas and the abuses and all of the issues of self-hate, all the little images that we've taken on from the mass mind controlling media, that we compare ourselves with models 10s when we perceive ourselves to be 2s and 3s. And from that, we have a distorted image of ourselves. And from that, a block happens. We no longer love ourselves. Our hearts, the energy from our hearts, literally degenerate. That's how the manipulation and control has happened. Are we fed up enough of being manipulated, mind controlled into ignorance, dissonance, division, dividing men from women, black from white, gay from straight, Jew from Gentile, Christian from Muslim? That's the name of the dissonant game. Divide and conquer. You wouldn't have circles. You wouldn't have squares. You wouldn't have any sacred geometry. You wouldn't have pyramids. The pyramids are intimately constructed based on the mathematics of pi, phi. You wouldn't have pi or phi without 5 to 8. In other words, you wouldn't have anything. The universe would not exist. When you play 528 or sing, even better, in 528, that energy flows virtually universally, certainly across the planet, affecting as a miracle frequency the hearts of humanity.
Isn't that amazing?
How is it that you're?
One more thing, I meant to talk about this real quick. There's an island, this is the pedophile island is what it's known as here, pedophile prison island, where the state of Washington locks up the pedophiles for the state. This prison has over 1,000 empty beds waiting there.
Oh.
What's up here? Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing.
There's only 1,000 beds.
Joint 1,000 empty beds.
That's what I mean. There's only 1,000 empty beds. There must be, there's a lot more.
There's more than that underneath. I've done a remote view of this place. There's a big bunker under there. If they're not already locking some of these people up there, they will be. That's going to be the West Coast Guantanamo Bay. I guarantee it.
The pedos they don't need to be locked up. They need to be completely dissolved from all matter and reality.
That's true too. But if for some reason they have to made a deal with any of them that they need to lock them up, that's where they're going to go. It's already there.
Are you going to show? There. Do you want to show us this island, or are you just telling us about it?
Well, yeah, I can show you it real quick if you want to see it. I actually could have got a job there. I could still get a job there if I want.
After this video, maybe not.
Oh no, you can't. You can't. Only way onto the island is by ferry, and it's by government-run ferry with security guards.
It's funny how these islands crop up throughout my life as well.
But this island is in the heart. Let's see. Let's go Google Earth. I guess would be the best way. Or no, MapQuest would be best. Let's go to Google. Google Earth. But yeah, this island it's across from Joint Base McChord and Fort Lewis, the Air Force Base, and it's all across from Old Fort Steilacoom. At Old Fort Steilacoom, there's a hospital there, and it has Tartarian mudflow buildings there, right there. And this island is right across from there. And this area is so much dark energy is in that area. But yeah, so let's see. I know exactly where it is, right here. But yeah, this island, it's like right here in the Pacific Northwest. They used to even Who was locked up there? Charles Manson was on this island prison when it was a federal. It used to be a federal prison. They sold it to the state, but look what else is up here. You got the Olympic mountain range, but so right here, so here's Tacoma. Then the Fort Lewis is right here in this area. This is Fort Lewis right here in McCord Air Force Base. Then you got Boeing is like right over here. Then you got Microsoft and Amazon are up in this area.
Did I see DuPont there?
Yeah. Yeah, DuPont. That's the big. It was a big old gravel plant. That's right where so Stillicum. So this is the old Fort Stillicum is. Well, anyways, so this right here is Stillicum. Then right here is McNeil Island, Anderson Island, McNeil Island right here. So you got 3 islands here. There's Anderson, Fox, and then McNeil. And this is the prison island. There's a lot of videos on this prison island, but look at this. There's only 200 and something prisoners here right now. They're people that have done their time in jail, like their sentences are complete, but they are too bad to put into the community, so they're locked up without, basically against their will and everything. They're put on this island. And this island, they built it up in like the early 80s, and it's like they were building this island like and stashing it away for this time now, I'm thinking. But the things I remote viewed at this place was just amazing. But yeah, so there's only 250 people that could probably stay in a building this big right here. So yeah, this is how much room they still have for more people. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah. So
the new Gitmo.
Yeah, that's gonna be the West Coast Gitmo. I have no doubt about it. It's the only island prison in the U.S. The only one that's still running today in all of the U.S.
Well, look, it's been amazing speaking to you. But if I don't stop seeing them, there's not going to be enough memory on
Thank
Zoom.
you very much, my friend. Peace.
No, really, a real pleasure.
Just for other people, I've got one thing to end it with.
Yeah.
That is, it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. The only thing that matters is what energy overall you generate with every thought, statement, and action that you make. That's the only thing that truly matters, because we are just all energy weapons in the end, for good or for evil. That's it.
Perfect.
That's it. Choose your energy and manifest it and supercharge it and kick some ass. That's what I'm doing.
I couldn't agree more. We're going to end up going to ESETI together. I've got a feeling we need to talk about that next time. But look, for now, I've absolutely got to go because I'm burnt out today.
One on fumes.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody watching. Thank you. Make sure you sign up to the email updates in the description. If there's any links you want me to put in this video, send them over on email, and I'll put those below. Subscribe to. What's the channel called? It's called the Unseen.
Our Cloaked Unseen.
Our Cloaked Unseen World. Yeah. So make sure you subscribe over there. But for now, I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
And good luck the next couple of weeks.
Karma been proved true to me because I'm out of work and on unemployment with my job still secure. Once the mask, because I'm not able to wear a mask because I have a doctor's note that says I can't because of my surgery. But it's like I was given that for this time to do my light work I already know I've made impact on many people's lives, dozens, hundreds of people that, I have made friends with on my channel that I have talked to separately, and answered their questions and, made people's days when, people that have lost hope, I've given them hope again.
Well, I found that's been one of the amazing gifts about doing this kind of work, and you're going to do it with a lot more. So it's just brilliant to speak to you.
Yeah, if you got anybody that wants to interview me, I'm more than game. Anybody?
That's easy for me to organize. But for now,
whoever, doesn't matter. I'll go on whatever show wants to have me. The more people that know what I know is going to help them out in the end too, or maybe it won't. I don't know, but it'll help somebody. It'll help somebody. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, listen, Do you take care of yourself? I'm gonna shoot.
All right.
See you later.
Yep. Much love.
Bye, everybody.